sprayed in my eye.
Oh, that was awful silly of you. Why would you do such a thing?
I don't know, but it's all over my glasses now.
Nice.
Take
All right.
that.
Welcome to A Drink to the Past, the only podcast on the web where you can see my face. Haha. I said that as I took away the logo, and now they can actually see my face, and it might have horrified some of our viewers. Oh, crap, I forgot my hat, because I'm bringing back the thing I used to do on my YouTube channel where I wear a different hat every week, and now I am wearing this sombrero because it was Cinco de Mayo earlier this week. And also, to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, I am drinking nothing Mexican whatsoever.
It was Revenge of the 5th.
I don't know. I feel like you're encroaching on Cinco de Mayo if you do that, and 6th sounds a lot more like Sith anyway. So shouldn't be Revenge of the 6th? Because that gives us one extra day to drink a lot of tequila. So, there you go.
Makes sense.
I had some tequila and homemade margaritas. It was pretty sweet. All right. Anyways, my name is Sean Michael Patrick Thompson, the host of Drink to the Past. Oh, crap, I dropped my thing. I can actually even use my drink card, which I still have for my old YouTube channel. So I'll remind the viewers at home of when to drink by holding up my handy-dandy drink card.
You should probably rewrite it backwards. It looks backwards to me.
There
you go.
There we go.
Drink. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it would appear backwards. It's
backwards because you drink too much.
Nerd. Yeah. Well, whichever direction I hold it up, I hope you will be drinking along at home. Anyways, this week we have Crow. If you haven't recognized his voice by now, he's joining us once again. Woohoo!
What are you talking about? I'm brand new. It's first time ever.
Yep. We've never had a bird on the podcast before.
Nope.
And
we've never made this joke before.
Of course, we have my glorious co-host, Chris. What's your last name, Audette?
Chris, what's my last name, Audette?
I don't know what it is. I don't know much.
I don't know either.
It's really hard to put on this sombrero with this headphones. When I came up with this plan, I mostly was putting the headphones on top of the hat. But with hats like this, it doesn't work like that. So,
what do you think about that?
Yeah. That's a thing. Anyways, today on Sean Drinks Something Stupid, I'm going to be the Dungeon Master, and Dungeon Mastering is much more hilarious while you're drunk, so I'm going to do an Irish car bomb right the hell now.
Oof.
Jesus, man. Oh my god.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
I haven't had one of those in a long time. That's good stuff. I'm going to have to, like, cut holes in this hat or something so my headphones go through it.
You know that thing that the dwarves in the board game Small World do, where they drink their beer and they're just spilling it completely into their beard? That just happened to me.
That happened a little bit to me. It just kind of came out the corners of my mouth there because this stein is kind of large. Also, I have a thing that I used to do on my YouTube channel where I'd also show off some of my random glassware. So this is a stein from Gunther Tootie's Diner, which used to exist in the town where I lived, and now it doesn't, but there are other ones in other towns in Colorado, and they're not as cool because I don't want to drive for an hour to go there, but I would really go there all the time if it was close by. So, rest in peace, Gunther Tootie's. It was awesome. With 50's Diner place. 5-cent hamburgers on Wednesdays. That was great. All right. So, drink if you haven't already, because on the podcast here, every time we drink, you have to drink. It's a complicated game like that. Anyways, next thing we're going into is the news and booze here. So we're going to talk about booze and talk about video gaming and maybe some tabletop news. But I haven't seen any interesting tabletop news this week, I think. So we're not going to talk about tabletop news. But, yeah, anyway. Crow, what you drinking?
I'm drinking Kahlua brand White Russian. It's the only way that I'll drink vodka.
Huh.
But it's just vodka and coffee. Really tasty.
I'm going to introduce you to a good vodka when you come out to Colorado.
I guarantee I won't like it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make you
Dry
try it
liquors
anyway.
don't settle well with me.
Okay, this one's pretty good. Because I like some liquors or some vodkas, and others I'm just like, it tastes like you're trying to get me drunk as quick as possible, and I know that that's exactly what they want to fucking do. So that's kind of annoying. But yeah, it's the one I'm thinking of is called Reka, which is an Icelandic vodka, which is a little different in characteristics, and it's filtered through lava rocks, which, as far as I know, is no better or different than any other form of filtration, but it sounds so much more metal. Also, I didn't have any Jameson for my car bomb, so I'm going to plug Talnua Irish whiskey. You can find them in...
Hey, there I am.
Hey, look, Crow exists. And
I
for
found
some
my
reason,
little
our
Crow.
pictures flip-flopped. That was kind of random. Hey, you're missing a tooth, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, we match.
Never,
Yours is on top.
never grew in. Just never existed.
Huh. That's hilarious. Mine...
Cool.
All right.
Shit.
Sweet. I'll drink
I
to
don't
that.
have one of those webcams,
Yeah.
Shame.
So
which is probably for the best.
instead, you get Chris's little avatar here, which is a little flapper girl. Or something.
No, that's a flapper. It was a Call of Cthulhu character.
Ah, nice. And you just left it as your Discord avatar forever.
Yeah,
Nice.
only character I played in that game to come out of the adventure more sane than less.
Awesome. All right. Chris, what you drinking? Are you drinking the beer I brought you?
I am drinking the beer you brought me. Thank you for bringing that beer to me, by the way. It
Yeah.
is Centurion Barley Wine Ale. Barley Wine Ale. That is a weird thing to say. From Golden City Brewery.
Yeah, so I got one of them too. Comes in a little can because it's like, what is it? This one actually is their second release of a barrel aged one. The first one was barrel aged for a year, and these ones were put in at the same time and taken out another year later. So we get 2 years of barrel aging in these ones, which is pretty awesome. But it ends up putting it at what, 15.7%? Yes, 15.7. So little can, but that's okay because I'm dungeon mastering, and it will be hilarious when I'm more drunk or something. If I run out of this, I'll have to go get something else too.
Indeed.
Anywho, let's get into the news and booze here. So Doom Eternal finally has a release date for Nintendo Switch, which is June 23rd. I bought it on PS4 last week, and so I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not like mad that I bought it on PS4. Doom is a game series that I might double dip for, so I might go get it on Switch later after a price drop or something. You guys played Doom Eternal or interested or waiting for a Switch
I haven't
port?
done it yet.
Yeah.
I plan to.
Gonna get it on Switch?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, June 23rd is your date then.
I still haven't played the Doom 2016.
I would recommend you do that, except for the fact that you get motion sick when you play first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Okay. I also have not played Doom.
2016 is really good, so I would definitely check that out. And the story was surprisingly good for a shooter too, because like normally shooters are like, the story was fine, it was there, but every now and then like you get like Halo Reach or this one I think is up there in my favorite shooter stories ever is Doom 2016. So definitely worth checking out there, and it's usually on sale for most systems. Not always on Switch, but it goes on pretty good sales on Switch, even so. Next piece of news, the ESRB rating for Cyberpunk 2077 is now online, and has revealed that, quote, customization can include depictions of breasts, buttocks, and genitalia, as well as various sizes and combinations of genitals.
And I think the reason they're doing that is an inclusivity thing.
Probably, but it sounds like mix and match, like you can have like both. Like, is that...
Yeah, that's part of the inclusivity thing.
Right. But what would you do with a dick and a vagina?
Everything you could ever hope for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are you guys excited about being able to customize your junk?
I don't know if excited's the right word, but I'm looking at the game again. I was like, it's been on my wish list, but now I'm considering pre-ordering it.
I'm excited to be able to tell people when they buy it, enjoy the game, go fuck yourself. Because you can do that.
Right?
Not actually going to say that. I'll get fired after the first one.
Right, yeah, you know. I mean, you're assuming your company will live through the COVID problem. Which, how are you guys doing? Are you doing okay?
As far as... what?
GameStop and existing with the virus going on?
Yeah, stores are working on reopening slowly as states free themselves up.
Yeah.
My store is slated to open up next Friday. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be a very limited open. It's going to be, I imagine, mostly returns. So give it about a month and then ask me that question.
Right, they'll all be like, yeah, I'm tired of Animal Crossing now. I've had it for all of quarantine and now I need something different.
You can, if you want some good information on what's going on in the back end, actually, Red and Hick went over quite a bit of stuff on Busted Buttons recently.
Check them out. I mean, we're at war with them. Right. Well, we skipped a week of being at war, though, so I'm not sure if it still counts. I was like, I was going to use it as a running joke, and then I forgot it. And then I was like, I thought about it a couple of times last week. I'm like, could I shoehorn in our stupid war with Busted Buttons? And I just never got a chance. So pretend we're still at war with Busted Buttons. Grr. Yes. We drink more on our podcast than they drink on theirs.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, we probably drink more on this podcast than most podcasts, like any other four put together, probably.
That's probably a reasonable number.
Yeah. Speaking of Animal Crossing, Olivia's Fashion and Home Furnishing Company, I think that's what they are. The company is called Olivia's. I've never heard of them, but as I think on their website, they are some sort of fashion and home furnishing company. They are now offering interiors design consultation for your Animal Crossing New Horizons Island home interiors, charging roughly $50 an hour. And I assume some people are paying $50 an animal for home consultants to tell them how to decorate the interior of their Animal Crossing home.
Good on the people that are
right. Like, this is an amazing.
That, but who the fuck is spending money on this?
I don't know, but like, I am certain that people are because it is Animal Crossing, right?
It's dumb. But I did see something really cool. I don't remember who it was, but somebody apparently has like a talk show done in Animal Crossing, and they have like one of the rooms in their house set up like a talk show studio.
That's hilarious.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, you interested in hiring a consultant?
No.
Not at
that price. On that talk show?
I would be on that talk show, and I don't even play Animal Crossing. Burnout Paradise Remastered. I played Animal Crossing once. Anyway. Burnout Paradise Remastered for Switch is launching June 19th and is inexplicably priced at $10 more than other versions because Switch tax, but also it includes the DLC, so I don't know what to make of that. I'm like, whatever. It's Burnout on Switch. I'm gonna fucking buy it. That sounds awesome. I love Burnout. And it's like one of the best. It's probably, like, short of Mario Kart, the best racing game to put on Switch, right? It is such a party game.
I mean, any racing game is good on Switch.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's that. Any thoughts on that, Chris?
No.
Okay. Any thoughts on that there beer? Which I'm now opening.
Yes. This is... barley wines and barrel aged have always kind of sat funny with me, but like this is, I'm still enjoying it. I'm gonna give it 15.7.
That is very
pretty high rated.
Yeah.
Speaking of ratings, Sean, I don't believe you gave us one.
Not yet. I just opened it. I guess I did the Irish Car Bomb. I could have done that. Yeah, I like Irish Car Bombs. So give that a good 14. It's a cocktail I can get into, and I'm not like huge on cocktails. I just do them because they're funny on the podcast. But this one is like one that I would like drink as a go-to if I could just have that flavor and like sip it. That would be wonderful, but you have to chug it, so I don't do them all that time. Because if you don't chug it, then the Baileys will curdle inside of the Guinness, and that doesn't sound as appetizing. I've never waited around long enough to find out because my family is excellent at chugging.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
I am a very slow drinker.
One of our skills, yeah. Yeah, this is really good. This is a lot smoother than just the regular barley wine or the other one that I had when they had the 1 year barrel aged one. So this is. I'm all spilling almost. I'm sure that was beautiful to watch me just like all over on the video here. And now that we have video, that's going to be a blessing and a curse. But luckily, it won't be a curse for me. It's just our poor viewers. We're also available on Podbean if you don't want to look at me anymore. And Apple Podcasts. Shameless plug. Subscribe and review us and junk. Anyway.
Inside the podcast.
Yeah. So here's an interesting one. A company that worked with Nintendo on hardware during the Wii generation called iQue has been hacked, and the hacker leaked tech demos for Nintendo legacy games, source codes for the Nintendo 64, GameCube, and Wii operating systems, and debug builds for various Pokemon games, among other things. Those are kind of the big things. But this is like the biggest data breach in Nintendo history. Like, they've got the source code for 3 of their consoles' operating systems now, which is like kind of crazy that much ended up leaking. I follow a guy on Twitter that is always doing like it's called Dr. Lava's Lost Pokemon, and he does like different articles and YouTube videos about like Pokemon that got cut or scrapped for different reasons. It's really interesting to follow. And he's been looking into this, and one of the things that came out of this was actually kind of interesting, that in the debug build, it actually seemed to reference, this was the debug build for Pokemon Yellow version. It referenced a second version called Pokemon Pink version, which is interesting. So it's possible that at some point in development, they were even planning to do Yellow as a mid-gen game where they did both, or 2 separate versions of it. So it would be a Yellow and Pink. And his theory is that you would have had Jigglypuff or Clefairy would have been the 2 kind of Pokemon. He wasn't totally sure which, because there's not like enough solid info to go off of, but I think he said more likely Clefairy for some reason or another, but it sounded kind of interesting. I was like, oh, that would be kind of cool to have seen 2, you wonder what all the differences would have been and why it ended up being scrapped. So I always dig that kind of funny little tidbit. But what do you guys think about this kind of thing, this kind of massive scale leak? And you think anything interesting will come out of I bet more will come out of the Pokemon tech demos, definitely, or the Pokemon debug builds. And I imagine the modding community and hacking community will be having a heyday with the source codes to GameCube and Wii.
I just want Virtual Console and Switch for like GameCube and 64, fucking Game Boy Advance. I don't care. Give me something. Right. Just give me something. Nintendo.
Game Boy Advance would be okay. I would pay like almost full price for Minish Cap again.
I think that there's already fairly, to the best of my knowledge, there's already fairly functional emulators out there for GameCube and Wii.
There are, but so, I mean, imagine, like, I'm just trying to think of, I don't know a ton about it, but I'm thinking that this might even be able to push that level of emulation further, bring it up to, I'm not an expert on this kind of thing, but it's like, it takes so long for emulators to even get off the ground. Like, I remember when Switch came out, everybody was like, it's probably a year later, and everybody was like astounded that somebody made a Switch emulator that could like boot up the load screen of Rayman Legends. So it's like that kind of a slow going process, and I don't know exactly how complete Wii and GameCube emulators are. N64, as far as I know, I've seen some of them that are like pretty much able to just like do it like perfectly. But you know, so I think it's interesting, and I imagine it will have some effect on this community, but I don't know exactly what extent that will be.
And I'm also curious to see how Nintendo deals with a breach like this, if they tighten up security at all.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because it wasn't a breach specifically in Nintendo. It was a breach in iQue, which was the company that they had outsourced for several different things during development of the Wii specifically, is what it sounded like from the articles that I read. Is like they were helping with some amount of software and hardware engineering for the Wii generation. So, next piece of news and booze is LEGO is set to review several gaming-related sets. This is kind of a yearly thing that they do. They get, like, a lot of different ideas, and they review them, and they're like, okay, this could work. Do we think it'll sell? Do we think it'll blah, 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 blah. So this probably doesn't mean anything, but it's kind of interesting to see that there's this many different LEGO set potential ideas that are actually being reviewed by the official people over at LEGO. These sets include Untitled Goose Game, Sonic Mania Green Hill Zone, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Hyrule Castle. Which, like, I'm ready to...
What a weird assortment of games.
Right, yeah, I'm kind of like, that is a little kind of random, but, like, Sonic Legos, I bet that would sell pretty well. And, like, what Zelda nerd would not just go drop $500 for a fucking Breath of the Wild Hyrule Castle on their desk, right? You? I see you there, Crow. You wouldn't?
I don't care for Legos.
Okay.
I never did.
That's fair. I don't know. I have always been like a Lego kind of a enthusiast. I'm not like a super huge. I don't do a lot anymore, but like I have always wanted to have one giant set that I built and displayed somewhere. And if Hyrule Castle gets published, I am fucking buying it. I don't care how much it is.
I love the Lego games. So if they were to come out with a Lego Legend of Zelda, fuck yeah.
That would be hilarious. That would be awesome. I would love a Legend. The Lego games are surprisingly good, too. Like, I feel like they're kind of just this game that comes out all the time, and so you don't really think anything of it. But, like, every one that I've played has been, like, really solid, tons of replayability. Like, I love the Indiana Jones one. Specifically because that was the first one where you could, like, after you beat the game, you could, like, customize a character and just go through the levels again with your character that you had made yourself with any ability that any character you had seen in the game had ever had. And so I was just like some ridiculous mishmash of Lego pieces that I made, carrying around a bazooka that some guy had in some random level, and just the entire game I'm just nuking people with my fucking bazooka. It was amazing.
That's why I like Lego Star Wars. There was nothing funnier than going through a level as General Grievous and Jar Jar Binks. So
that sounds perfect. All right.
The perfect duo.
A master and his apprentice.
Indeed. Grievous had to get his skills from somewhere.
This is super good beer. I am going to rate this now. So Centurion Barley Wine. Like I said, Golden City Brewery, obviously I've been talking about them as one of my favorite beers. And Crow, when you get back here, I have an extra can of this just for you. This is something that I call a 17. Because you asked me last time you were on. You're like, you have a 17 beer I can try? I'm like, I got a 4-pack of them. Chris just drank one. I'm drinking this one. And when you get back, you and me will share the other two.
And I do want to point out that this tiny little can here is about the equivalent of 2 regular beers.
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of alcohol.
It depends on what you consider regular, right? It's like, because let's see, this is a 6-ounce can, I think, maybe an 8-ounce. I'm not sure.
It's an 8-ounce.
It is okay. It's an 8-ounce. So at 15.7, that's equivalent to a pint of something that's like an 8% beer, which is still fairly high. This is the equivalent of 4 Guinnesses
Okay.
in an 8-ounce beer.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Probably won't be till the summer, around July, August.
Okay, yeah, but it'll be waiting in my fridge for you, so there you go. All right, and final piece of news and booze is all kinds of things, because the Inside Xbox Games reveal happened, which was kind of interesting. Either of you watch that?
Nope.
I have
should.
not.
Okay. Well, it was like, imagine a Nintendo Direct, but like with a lot less interesting stuff, and it was for Xbox. So it was fine. There was a lot of like cool stuff, but nothing like Nintendo Direct quality. Like you know, my hype level was never nearly as much as like a Nintendo Direct. So, anyways, their first game that they revealed was the official first gameplay for the Xbox Series X. Was a game called Bright Memory Infinite, which the trailer for this actually looked pretty cool, because it's like, first of all, it's like super like high def realistic graphics, and it's almost like a Call of Duty style game or something, and you're like shooting down bad guys, and then suddenly he like shoots a laser out of his arm and like hook shots to another guy with it, and then he's like cutting people up with swords, and then he's driving a DeLorean. It's crazy. There is so much going on in this game that I'm just like, I fucking want whatever this is. I'm not really sure how to describe it. There's so much going on. But that looked super cool. I think that was the best thing they could have like shown off first. That was the only one that I was really like, oh wow, that graphically is something that looks absolutely incredible. Because my one kind of nitpick with this presentation is like, all of the games on here look like they could run on my regular PS4. I don't even have a PS4 Pro, but I'm like, none of them look like anything better than what current gen is, which I'm not sure how much of a generational leap there's going to be. I feel like, having seen this presentation, it's going to be less than what we have seen in generational leaps beforehand. Obviously, like GameCube to... Or GameCube/Wii to like Wii U. That's a pretty big upgrade. You know, Xbox 360 to Xbox One or /PS3 to PS4. It's a pretty big upgrade. But now this one, I'm like, is it gonna be that big? I don't know. I don't know how much bigger it can get.
It's because graphics aren't everything.
That's true. But the gameplay in that looked really, really cool, as well as the graphics look really, really cool. So, I don't know if it's going to be Xbox exclusive. The presentation was weird, too, because I feel like it was advertised as, like, this is the stuff that you're going to buy an Xbox One Series X for, whatever the fuck it's called. And I'm just like... Okay, that sounds cool. So you're going to show off all your exclusive titles like Halo and Gears and, you know, maybe whatever else you got in the works. Hellblade 2, and they showed off like all their third-party stuff in this game. So like all of the games here are non-Microsoft exclusive. They're some of them might be timed exclusives. They didn't specifically say. A lot of them are doing the thing, whatever they called it, where you can buy one version of it. Like, you can buy the Xbox One version, and then if you get an Xbox Series X later, then it'll upgrade you to the Series X version. So a lot of them are pushing that kind of thing. So that's kind of cool still. But... it's just kind of a weird kind of a selling point. And then they said they're going to have like a reveal of their first party games in like July, I think. Anyways, the next thing in there was Dirt 5. I've never been huge into Dirt, which is to say I've never actually played a Dirt game. I played Colin McRae Rally. That was kind of cool. But it looks like a fine like rally racing sort of thing.
And I'm watching the trailers for these in the background as you're describing them.
Okay, cool. Next one was Scorn, which was something kind of creepy and dark with a lot of blood. Looks cool. Then there was Chorus, which was some kind of space simulator with dark elements. Looked fine. Madden 21 is Madden. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines sounded kind of interesting. It's all based off of Vampire the Masquerade, which is World of Darkness.
Is that a remake of the original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines?
No, it's Bloodlines 2. So it's it looks pretty cool. So if you're big into World of Darkness, then there's something to be seen there. I think it's kind of neat. Call of the Sea, which was some mysterious-ass thing where you're a merman or something. I couldn't really tell. The Ascent is some kind of cyberpunk shoot-'em-up. That looked kind of neat. The Medium is a psychological horror game, which I wouldn't have completely guessed from the trailer, but that they had like a segment afterward where the developer came out and he was like, "This is a psychological horror game," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that kind of makes the trailer make a little more sense," because the trailer was one of those trailers where it didn't really tell you what the fuck was going on. It was fine. It was like, if you're into that kind of thing, then you'd probably be like, okay, yeah, it's got my interest piqued, if nothing else. The Medium will also feature one of the composers from the Silent Hill series, so that's kind of cool. Scarlet Nexus was the next one, where some anime people fight freaky monsters. Looks like some sort of cool hack and slash anime game. The next one was really, like, I think this looks like pretty cool. It's called Second Extinction. And it's like this super bloody, gory man versus dinosaur shooter. Somebody was talking about it, said it looks like Turok on steroids. So it's totally just you, like, fucking up dinosaurs' days with all kinds of guns, all kinds of blood, all kinds of death. And next was Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've never played any of the Yakuza games, but this one looks like a 3D beat-em-up where you're a Japanese gangster with a magic nail bat. And what's not to like about a magic nail bat?
I'm surprised they're making that one Xbox. Is that Xbox exclusive?
They didn't specifically say if any of these are Xbox exclusive, so some of them I wouldn't be surprised if they were Xbox exclusive, or at the very least a timed exclusive or something. Obviously, some games come to more consoles or whatever. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the next one that came. There was a very little gameplay in that. That was almost another cinematic trailer, but there was a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay in that trailer. It was pretty much cinematic. That was another thing, is they advertised this thing as like the gameplay reveal, and like most games were just cinematic trailers. So, anything stand out to you there, or any other thoughts on this presentation as I have described it for you?
The Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines one stood out to me for the earlier reasons, but
right.
I'm gonna see if I can find anything more out about that.
Okay. All right.
It's Bloodlines 2.
Yes.
Looks like a sequel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't play the original, so I have no idea if that'll be like, well, if you didn't play the original, you're gonna have no idea what's going on, or if it's gonna be one of those, like, you know, Final Fantasy 2. It's nothing like the original at all! Alright, so, and into our regular podcast topics today, which are not podcast topics today. Ha 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 ha! Because instead, we're gonna play D&D. Boom! That sounds hilarious. So, Crow and Chris have come up with some sort of interesting, hilarious characters that they are going to embark on an epic quest with. Or maybe they're just going to, you know, fuck around at the pub the entire time. I don't know. That's the fun of the
Good.
I'm going to get my dice down. I forgot my dice. Aha! I got my dice.
I owe it to people to not fuck around at the pub the entire time.
I have the coolest dice box.
You know what? That's probably true. Do you have a dice box, Crow?
I don't. I have little, like, bags. Speaking of,
It works.
which dice should I use?
If I had my D3 on me, I would use it. Here, let me flip a coin. Let's see. So I'm going to roll a D6. 1 or 2 is that gold one. 3 or 4 is the blue one in the middle. 5 or 6 is the kind of cosmic galaxy looking one. That's actually kind of neat. 4. Middle die.
Blue it is.
All right. Cool. And I'll get out a set of my own.
So if I roll a nat 1, it's your fault.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, this cool coin. This came with the Octopath Traveler limited edition, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's a leaf because for some reason the currency in Octopath Traveler is called leaves. I don't know why, but they're cool. Anyway. Is getting slightly too cumbersome.
I forgot to do the
tangled up in my
spells.
All right, Cinco de Mayo is officially over, even though it's like what, the 8th? Yeah. Okay, so you have come to the town of insert random town name here. I was going to actually use, we briefly talked about maybe using that one-shot that Crow and I wrote up, but I never got around to listening to that podcast again to remembering how the hell it went, and I looked around a little bit, but I couldn't find my notes, so we're going to do a slightly different adventure, but it should still be pretty fun. So anyways, you all, both, not you all, I guess, anyway,
Party 2
have inexplicably met in the town of town name number 1, blank is the town name.
Blank?
Yeah.
Would you like me to pull up a town name generator?
Maybe. I'm surprised I haven't made a town name generator. Like, one of the things I do in my spare time is I make random D100 lists of random stupid shit. Like effects for your critical hits or random features.
Snakes Canyon.
Snakes Canyon. You are in Snakes Canyon. Dead beer. Dead beer. Is it like Beggar's Canyon back home?
I mean, probably, but with more snakes.
Close enough.
Fewer beggars.
Tiny bit of
the snakes scared them off.
Glass. No, there's not. All right, so. What kind of characters are you playing? Let's introduce yourselves briefly.
Go ahead. Chris brings the thing.
I am Kelboth, Cleric of Armok. I worship the god of civilization, blood, and struggle. And I like to make sure that people other than me are struggling.
Nice.
That's a good reason as any, I suppose.
And Crow.
I am a Dragonborn druid named Jib.
Jib.
He has never been a part of society and grew up in the woods, so he's very dumb. Doesn't understand people's skills, but he likes animals and booze.
Well, I'll drink to that. If you're drinking along at home, you can drink.
To that.
I'm almost out.
Oh, man. We're just getting started. So you have inexplicably wandered into this area. Where are you going to go first?
What's where?
Well, there's a pub, there's a general store, there's a brothel. You know.
Pub, general store, brothel, all the standard
all the necessities.
Town things.
Right?
And there's a urban housing district.
Close enough. I mean, what D&D campaign doesn't start at the pub, right?
The kind where I say, where do you want to go? And the players say, oh, well, I guess I came into town just now. I better go to the pub.
Yeah. Got to get a good drink.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Wander your way into the pub. There are 3 orcs playing darts in the corner. And there's a kind of an old man, seems to be tending the bar.
Like, kind of old, or just... Like, how old are we talking here?
Like, has he named the dirt old?
Yeah, he was the guy that decided it should be called dirt instead of his next door neighbor was like, oh yeah, we should call it smegma or some other bodily fluid.
Gross.
As you two enter through the door, the bartender kind of looks up from the glass he's washing with wide eyes. Many balls, says he darkly, has the man who steps in a pub today.
And why is that, old man?
Well, you see, this pub is frequented by many orcs, because it is the closest pub to their encampment, just outside of town, you see. Their chieftain, Bilge Cradle, the needlessly muscular, makes them bring him a keg of ale every week, and while they're picking it up, they like to drink and fight in the pub. But then one night, they did not return, and the chieftain has become mad and declared war on anybody who enters the pub except MacGuffin, which is my name. I am MacGuffin, the bartender. I provide their ale, so I can come in. I get the exception there.
Does that mean that you'll be, like, critically plot important later, and we need to kidnap you now?
It's possible, but highly unlikely.
Why's your name MacGuffin? It just seems like a red herring.
My father's name was Guffin, so my name is MacGuffin.
Oh, right, okay.
It seems fairly self-explanatory. You know how, lineage and etymology intertwine?
I feel like we're operating off a totally different set of cultural expectations here, and my culture is better than yours. What about those orcs over there? Are they supposed to be here?
Yeah, they're here all the time. Like, what was the last time you went into a pub and there was not 3 orcs playing darts in the corner?
I don't know. I can't remember the last time I went into a pub.
I've never been here.
The 3 orcs turn to you. You have declared war on Bilge Cradle, the needlessly muscular, because you have entered the pub.
Is that some kind of drink? Do you know, Mr. McMuffin? Do you know something good for my new friends here?
I always wanted.
On the back.
Why,
These
yes.
fine, upstanding gentlemen need a new drink.
Why, yes, I can invent a new drink. He pours some Bud Light into a glass of Jameson. I call it swill.
Well, that sounds needlessly disgusting.
Just like
Appropriately
resorts
named,
like.
The orcs saying that I've declared war on them and now they're waiting for a response?
They were, except for then Crow bought them a drink, and now they're very, like, just like, all right, you're a fucking okay guy, man. You bought us booze.
Okay.
They continue playing darts and carousing.
And I'm over there drinking with them. I don't know what's going on, but I'm having a grand old time.
All right.
I guess you made peace with them? I don't know. I don't know how this works. I don't understand the society.
It seems.
So as Crow goes over to play darts and drink with the orcs, Chris MacGuffin turns to you. Yeah. Now, you see, young man, I wouldn't be too sure about staying here very long. Other orcs may come, and they may also think that you have declared war on their master, Bilge Cradle, the needlessly muscular. Even Bilge Cradle himself may come soon. Perhaps. I don't know. Usually he sends his minions to come and get his booze. He's been plaguing our town for quite a while now.
He thinks that we declared war on him, did he?
Yes, indeed, he does.
Excuse me,
That
Mr.
gives me
McStuffin. Why is it so needless?
I mean...
Why are his muscles so needless?
Mostly because of the
understand.
steroids, I think. I don't know.
Is that a kind of food?
Sure.
War isn't needless. It's the ultimate expression of civilization. Observe, I'm going to stab the nearest orc.
Make an attack roll.
Alright. Should I just use my online dice roller?
Sure,
or
that's
something?
fine. Or whatever dice you've got. I'm not that worried about it. I thought about making up a Roll20 or something so that we could all, like, map this out and stuff, but then I was like, that sounds like a lot of work, and I'm already Roll20ing, like, 2 other campaigns and trying to...
It's a one-shot.
I was like, yeah, it is...
Yeah,
it's,
whatever.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
That's a 19 to hit.
Right. 19 will hit.
And that'll be 9 damage.
Oh, he seems almost entirely unexpecting to be stabbed just then, and he's like just totally shocked and nearly dead at your mighty blow. Roll for an
And I stabbed him from across the room with a halberd, so...
Impressive. Roll for initiative.
I forget, which one do I roll?
D20 plus
D20?
your dexterity, unless you have like a feat or something that increases your initiative, which I don't think there are in 5th edition as commonly.
And that's a 20 total, because I rolled another 19.
Nice.
I rolled a 12 and a +1, so I have 13.
Okay. So that was 13 for Crow. What was yours, Chris?
20?
All right.
Oh,
Who's in
Oh!
here?
a new challenger has arrived.
What is happening?
It's a Nick.
A Nick, you say? Just in the nick of time.
Aha!
Actually, we're already in the middle of the podcast, but... Hello, Nick.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting this, and this is hilarious.
I don't think we've ever had an intrusion on the...
No, I've always
podcast before.
I kind of thought about it like a few times. Like I was like, what if I just like start the podcast and then like get going a little bit just by myself and then join the Discord where Chris is and just be like, hey Chris, we're already recording. And he'd be like, wait, what? So welcome, Nick. Introduce yourself. Apparently.
Hi, I am Nick. Here I am.
Cool.
What do you want to know?
I'm Nick.
Nick, do you have a 5th edition level 1 character ready?
I could pretend.
Okay, let's go with that.
Okay.
Awesome. Vaguely familiar enough with 5th edition that you can wing it?
Sure.
This is going to
I
be a
could
train
send
wreck,
you
and it's
a
going to be
character.
amazing. Okay.
I could send you a
Something
character sheet if
unexpected
you want.
happened. We have to drink.
Okay, let me get some beer. Be right back.
I'll drink to
I
that.
should also get a drink.
All right, I'll drink to that too. Cool. So we're going to have a short break in the action here. Bum, bum, bum. While I go over this beer and write down the initiative, which was something. All right, so since we're not having a video game topic, let's use this interim to talk about video games very briefly. So, Chris, have any video game characters ever made you whack off furiously for hours on end?
No comment.
Okay. All right, that was our video game topic for the week. Now Crow is back, so we can get back into the action, I believe. We'll wait for Nick until he's ready, I guess, or something.
Hi.
Chris, your initiative is first.
Alright, with that orc I stabbed, I'm going to continue stabbing him, because war is glorious.
All right.
Wait, I just want to know, where am I in the initiative list?
You are currently at the bottom, unless Nick rolls
So-
lower than you.
While this is going on, I'm just still throwing darts.
Yeah.
And I believe it's 23 hit, so I'm going to deal him 6 more damage.
All right, that orc dies.
I'm going to say, you shouldn't have declared war on a cleric of Armok.
You declare war by
Oh.
coming in pub, you fool.
Potato, potato. Anyway, you're probably going to die.
Potato.
All right. The
I like potatoes.
other 2 orcs decide to attempt to punch you in the teeth for trying to kill them. Chris, one of them rolls a 7, which I assume misses. And
Yeah, that'll miss.
the next one rolls a natural 1, which gets him a critical miss chart, which is a house rule of mine, which is hilarious. So, critical misses.
Are we doing videos for this? Yes, we
Yeah, you can do a video if you want to put on your webcam there, Nick. All right. So, Chris, On the critical miss chart, he rolls, the enemy pulls out a gun, so the enemy in this case is you. You pull out a gun, and you shoot his dick off. He takes 1d% damage and loses his dick.
Can I roll the D%?
You may roll the D%.
He takes 93 damage.
He is dead.
It's like the scene from RoboCop.
What the actual fuck did I just waltz into?
I don't know.
You see,
A
there was some
figure
orcs.
opens the door and sees one guy shoot an orc's dick off. And he pauses and questions his decision to go to this particular
This is a great pub,
structure.
isn't it?
Can I go to this pub again? I never come to this pub. Now I see
It was the
why.
town of Snakes Canyon. I came here to make sure there were enough snakes for people to sufficiently struggle.
Are you gonna shoot my dick off, mate?
I mean, are you going to declare war on me?
What the fuck would I declare war on you? You just shot that man's dick off.
Not anymore.
That orc's dick off. He declared war on me, so I was like, okay, he'll shoot his dick off.
Jesus Christ, man, you're fearsome.
Crow, it's your
I know.
turn.
I'm how far away is the other orc?
The other orc is, like, probably real close to you. You were all playing darts and drinking and carousing together before Chris decided to shoot their dicks off.
That's fair. Can I roll a strength check to just push him away with my cane?
Yeah.
Just push him closer to Chris.
Okay.
What would I roll for that?
Just roll a
You want me to
d20 plus your strength modifier. He'll roll an opposed check to resist.
Fucking God damn it! Stop falling!
This is the most real D&D experience I've had in a while.
Let me put
Dice
it
falling off the table.
Right?
on my desk instead of on where the keyboard drops. Okay, so another 12 plus 2, so 14.
All right. You nudge him a little bit in that direction, and he kind of resists at first, but then he's like, okay, I see what you're doing. I need to fuck this guy up anyway. So he kind of just like goes with it. He's like, all right, I'm
follow
going to
that.
fuck you up.
I'm just gonna go back to
Alright.
throwing darts.
Nick, would you like to roll for initiative?
Sure, what do I roll for that? D20 or D6?
D20.
20 plus dexterity modifier, whatever that is.
Which of the numbers in order is the dexterity number?
Second.
You
Second
can
one.
you can assign them if you want, but
I put them in a random order. I put 15 as my second one. I'm assuming that's a +2 modifier, which makes that a 19 total.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. So I'll add you right here.
Dexterity.
Top of the order, Chris.
all right, the one that's next to me, I'm gonna say, "Oh, hey, you're here," and then I'm gonna hit him with my halberd some more.
Awesome.
You have a halberd and a pistol? Jesus.
He didn't.
I didn't even know I had the pistol on me. Anyway, that's a 21.
It was a one shot.
Ah,
Ah.
that's a 20 total. Is that what you said?
That's a 21.
21 will hit,
12 damage.
and he's dead. Oh
Jeez.
my god. Nick is here, live in video. This is a Drink to the Past exclusive. And because of that, you have to drink.
That's backwards, sir. There you
Very
go.
backwards.
Luckily, Sharpie bleeds through. Or whatever I used to write this. I have no idea. That was years ago.
Hopefully it was a Sharpie, because otherwise it could only be the black blood of an orc. They don't have black blood. That's bullshit.
And just have regular person blood. Because they're regular people. Orcs are people too. And they
Are they
die like
people?
regular people.
Yeah, yeah. When I look into this bar, are they actually orcs or are they just ugly people?
Well, they were orcs, and now they're bloody pulp.
One
Alright.
is mincemeat, one is half an orc, and one is
And
pincushion.
yeah, one just has
So
no
as
dick
a-
and just a gigantic hole where his dick used to be.
Goodness, I'm not going to look at that. As a person who just woke up hungover in some weird pub how do I feel about this?
I don't know. Make a
Roll for
wisdom
feeling.
check.
Wisdom. I'm assuming that's the 5th one here. I'm
Dex,
assuming it's a D20, and I add my
whiz.
modifier, which is probably a 1. That's 19 total.
Feel it.
I'm feeling
You
okay.
feel like that was a thing that probably had context that you don't understand. And
I'm going to
ask that guy why he shot his dick off.
I'm going to point at you. I'm going to say, the orcs declare war on you for stepping in this bar. I don't know why, but that's what they told me. And because they declared war on me, I decided to win.
Oh.
Also, there's more of them, apparently, out there somewhere. I don't know. I'm new to this town.
I just asked for a new drink from my friend Mr. McDrubbin over here, pointing at the barkeeper.
It's MacGuffin.
That's what I
His
said.
name is MacGuffin?
Indeed I am.
Oh. Neat.
Would you like me to
I
do
mean-
the first monologue I did when those other guys came into the pub again and again?
No, that's all right, MacGuffin.
I'm like Kapora Gabora, but I'm
muddle
useful because I have booze.
Also,
The
we
man who shot his dick off. You are fearsome, and you seem to be the person with which I know best in this world. Can I follow you?
certainly. I'm always looking for followers.
I like
I will-
following.
I will protect you so long as you promise not to shoot off my dick, and prevent others from shooting off.
I will try really hard to not shoot off your dick. I didn't even intend to shoot off that guy's dick. It just kind of happened. I mean, one thing led to another, and I was shooting his dick off.
Remind me not to startle you from sleep.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Just every now and then somebody's dick gotta get shot.
My name is McPherson Gibbleton, and I don't know who I am.
Are you the,
Like amnesia or something?
are you related to Mr. McCuffin?
Possibly. In the greater family of Mix and Max. I would ask for a drink.
Would you like Bud Light, Swill, Piss, or vodka?
How about some vodka watered down with piss? Better than Bud Light.
I'll drink to that. Which means
A yellow Russian.
You could call it the lemony Russian.
I'll stick with my white Russian, thanks.
Should make one of those.
That's what I got.
You know, if you
Alright,
take a white Russian and you put a little piece of orange peel on top, it's like a toupee and it turns it into a Donald Trump.
Would that make it a Mexican Russian?
Because he's a white Russian. Or
Oh.
something like that. It's a political joke. Either laugh or drink. I don't care
You're
which.
going to drink.
I'd rather drink too, so I'll drink to that. Nick, speaking of which, you're on the podcast now, which means you have to drink and you have to tell us what you're drinking and rate your beer on a scale from 3 to 17.
I can show it because there's cameras.
Avery IPA.
That's
I've had that
true.
one. Most things from Avery I like pretty well.
It's okay. I'll give it an 8.
Okay. 8 is...
I didn't pregame with margarita today, so I'm less happy.
Oh, man. Go get you a margarita, damn it.
I've been
You're drinking Kahlua straight?
I've been pre-gaming. Yeah.
Dear Christ.
It's so sweet. So
It's
creepy.
not bad.
So,
Hi, people.
Hi, April.
people.
A wild
Hello.
wife appears.
wild. So I'm gonna ask the bartender how I can pay for my drink because I just looked in my pockets and there's nothing in there.
Well, if you wouldn't mind,
I'll
I
pay
guess...
for this man's.
Oh, well, I was going to get him to me into indentured servitude, but I guess that works.
No, he's my indentured servant.
Oh, okay.
You find your own indentured servant, you piece of shit.
All right.
Jesus, the plot hooks are fighting with each other.
Better a plot hook than a meat hook.
I think I saw a dented serpent outside.
A serpent? Oh, good. There's more snakes here than I thought.
His name was Bill.
That's why they call it Serpent's Canyon. Because of Bill.
Yeah.
So what is there to do in Serpent's Canyon?
Well, if you are a ragtag group of adventurers, I certainly wouldn't say no if you wanted to offer your services to me in form of I'll give you some free beer and tacos later.
I'm not that kind of soldier.
I'm
I
sold.
don't think I'm going to risk my life for free beer and tacos, sir. That seems
sold.
like a raw deal.
Okay, how about money?
Wait,
How
risk
much
our
money are you
lives?
talking?
I don't know. How much
Hopefully it's
money
not
is a
just
cake
enough
worth?
money for some
I
beers
thought
and tacos.
I thought he was propositioning me. Like, I'll risk my life for whatever.
I'm not very literarily competent. I'm not sure what a preposition is.
Excuse
It's,
me, Mr.
hold on, let me
McPuffin.
pull out
Yes.
Mr.
my
McPuffin,
book of learning.
can I have their free beers, please?
Yes. If you should take down Bilge Cradle, the needlessly muscular, then I will give you all of their free beers.
Sold.
How many free beers is that?
Bilge Cradle.
Free beer for life, free tacos for life, and a free 2-for-1 coupon for the brothel down the way.
Sounds good to me. I'm going to commandeer this chair as this is wartime. And I'm going to break off the legs and sharpen them into spear points and put the orc heads on the spear points outside the pub.
I could actually use one of those spears because I don't actually have a weapon.
Here's the fourth leg. There was only 3 orcs.
And thus,
Joke's on Mr. McRuffin. I'm a druid. I live 10 times as long.
10 times as long as what, a rat?
10 times as long as long.
How long is long?
Yes.
Alright, let's go find the needlessly muscular bilge something.
Yes, you random man who is following me. And you, Snake from Snake's Canyon. Let's go into the wild.
My
Find
name's Jib.
Wait,
Jib.
Mick
Jib.
Puffin,
Jib.
where is this needlessly muscular villain type? Supposed villain, of course.
conveniently, Bilge Cradle, the needlessly muscular, has set up his camp just next door.
Just next door.
Oh, that's really convenient.
Like, I walked by it on my way here
Yeah,
next
how
door.
did you miss it? It's like a bunch of tents.
Everything in this town looks the same. It all looks like shit. So, you know.
I resemble
Besides your
Mark.
pub, of course. That's why I came in here.
Oh, okay.
At least until someone got their dick shot off. But, you know.
I mean, I know it's a lie, but it still feels
Part of
nice
culture.
to hear.
I will go outside where there isn't a dick on the floor somewhere. Probably rolled onto it under a cabinet somewhere, just waiting to be discovered by some poor maid who cleans it in 6 months to a year.
No one knows where it went.
No one knows where when
like-
it's gone.
Is this an
I'm
old
sorry I
song?
wasn't keeping better track of it.
It's the folk tale of that tavern now. Some say
There'll
the
be a
dick
dick
is
somewhere
still
in
here
this
to this
tavern.
day.
And if you can find it, a fairy will bless you with great luck.
I will bless you with a yellow Russian.
I'll bless you with a yellow Russian.
Uh,
Sparkling yellow Russian. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what just happened, but I'm pretty sure we have to drink.
Way ahead of you.
I am through that barley wine now.
All right. So you're probably going to be nice and buzzed pretty quick here.
Yeah,
Nice.
A little bit.
Go get more beer.
I am a lightweight.
I evacuate the premises.
All right. So right
I
next
will-
door, there is a relatively large orc encampment, which is inexplicable and convenient. However,
Wait, did he say he wanted us to kill him?
I think so.
yeah, or at least
I mean, that was what I was planning on doing.
you could probably maybe get him to stop declaring war on anybody who goes in the pub. But Chris is likely to kill him, so there's that.
I think he said he wanted us to swill him. So does that mean that we give him booze?
No, that means
For the guys in the pub,
That
and then
means-
you stabbed him.
Well, they declared war on me. Also, that actually means that we just cut off his head and stuff it in a bottle of wine and let the wine ferment around his head, and then we sell it as, a luxury item.
Oh.
Kinky.
I don't
That's
like
how I
that plan.
chose to interpret that anyway.
Can we call it Grindel wine?
Works for me.
Grindel wine it is! Let's go, Mix. Alright, describe this orc camp for us.
So there
And
are
describe the
entrances.
orcs.
They are green and large and relatively muscular. And all of
Okay.
them are men but one. Or maybe more, you don't know. Because lots of them are intense. And I don't remember if I made any of them women at all. Because a lot of times I'm just like, I put in mooks and I just say orcs. And I'm like, maybe I should be more inclusive. But then I always forget to be. Because
Maybe
I'm
that's
just
why
like,
they're so angry.
maybe some of them
You're
were
Just
women.
like mine students.
Next drinking, we have to drink.
Local joke.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
See you, mines. I played soccer.
More
there.
people in Saudi Arabia who know about mines than the US. Anyways.
So it is.
I began traipsing through the orc encampment.
Okay.
Or-
There are
I will continue along with you.
8 seemingly identical tents.
Seemingly.
Seemingly, indeed.
Are these tents psycho something?
Probably not.
Let's tear them down, one by one.
How about we light them on fire and the fire will tear them down for us?
I like your thinking.
Excuse me! Are any of you fine gentlemen here bilge pipe the needless testicular? Because we're here to swill you.
I'm almost certain that's not his name, but I don't know enough about names to dispute it.
Bilge cradle. Bilge cradle.
A
the
voice
needlessly
echoes
muscular.
from somewhere. Bilge Cradle, the needlessly muscular, is in this encampment. Yes, thank you. Leave packages at the door.
You have
Well, that went
visitors.
well.
Does anyone have fire? I have a tinderbox, I think.
I have a stick.
That'll work. We can use the stick to light
Oh. My stick.
tents on fire.
I
Oh.
tied it in my robe. This is my stick. I need it to walk.
I have another plan. I'm gonna go back to the bar,
Okay.
to the pub of McPuffin. I think it. No, McGuffin. Was it Puffin or Guffin?
It's
I
McGuffin,
think it was McTuffin.
like the plot coupon.
I'm going to ask him if he has flammable substances such as oil, gasoline, fire oil, magical goobwob, pitch.
I have a bunch of booze.
I'm pretty sure they don't sell goobwob in this town.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm pretty sure most places don't sell goobwob.
If you want to know what goobwob is, be sure to pick up 5 Cataclysms Mad Mask Expire. It's only $5, and then you'll know what goobwob is. You will not forget. I go to
drink
the
to that.
innkeep and see if he has anything flammable like that.
Hmm. Yum.
Disclaimer: goobwob is not flammable.
Well, I
Most
hope
flammable
not.
oil.
If it was flammable, that just adds so many more complications.
Wait, is it?
Dude,
I stare at the innkeeper, pub
Yeah,
master.
what can I do you for?
I'd like some flammable things so we can burn up some orcs.
I still got some booze.
Oh yeah, I'll take some of that vodka.
And a bottle of vodka. That'll be 3 silver
Gracias.
pieces or 1 indentured servitude.
I'm going to hand him 3. I'm going to follow him into the bar and hand him 3 silver pieces.
Thank you for your patronage. Please do not die in a fire, so you may come back again.
Actually, I'm going to hand him a gold piece and say, give me enough bottles of vodka to cover his previous drink, plus the however many bottles of vodka this buys.
I have 2 more.
Fucking language.
Give me
Okay.
enough bottles of vodka to cover his previous drink. That better be enough.
Yeah, so you got 3 bottles of vodka.
Hey, let's make some Molotovs, boys. All right.
Sounds good
So
to
we had a
me.
yellow Russian, a white Russian, and now we're gonna have a yellow and orange Russian.
I have an idea. Can I see one of those bottles, please?
Sure. Hands
Thank
him
you.
a bottle.
First, he downs a whole bottle. And
chug,
there's-
chug, chug.
Oh, I get it. We light you on fire and throw you into the tent.
I belch out a bolt of lightning that lights some of the tents on fire. I'm a dragon.
I hand him another bottle.
Oh, you're not a snake at all.
Yeah.
You lied to me. You're not a snake.
I never said yes.
That's exactly what a snake would say.
That is exactly. You're right. You know what? You're Trixie, Snake.
My name is Jib.
Jib.
Anyway, I think it's safe to say all the tents are on fire now. On fire and probably smelling like booze.
Jib is a
so I
snake
assume
man.
your
He is a snake
breath
man.
weapon is a cone attack, or maybe a line.
I would assume a line, given that it's lightning.
Right, yeah. Because I feel like usually they're cones, but I wasn't sure because it's lightning. So we'll call
I have
it.
the book in front of me. Why don't I look this up?
Look it up, you book fiend! Today on Chris Brings a Thing, he has the rules to the game we're playing that none of us fucking know.
I have never played 5th edition before.
That's amazing.
I don't think this game is a very good benchmark for it.
That's so wonderful.
It's not.
Benchmark for it. What are you talking about?
Okay, so that would be
I
a
didn't write
line.
this session in 3.5.
I was right.
Tents respawned.
It's alright. I'm assuming there was just 2 lines of tents, so just 2 burps, and then I have a bottle left over for if I need it.
Perfect. You can one
You can't-
bottle. You can keep a fairy in it or some shit later.
You'd only be able to use it once, and then you'd have to rest for an hour.
Oh.
So he tries it again and just
burp and
Good
smoke
job.
out.
come out.
Well, at least it tastes good, and half the camp is on fire.
The tents are fairly
Oh, that's
large,
great.
so a 10-foot line would probably only hit one of them.
It's more like a 30-foot line.
Oh, it's a 30-foot line. Okay, then you could probably get
Yeah.
you could probably get 2 in there
These tents
And
are
it might spread to the other
pavilions.
potentially, depending on how ye old
Potentially?
guys feel about it.
Give win.
Yes.
Thank you.
Struggle more.
All right. All right. Molotov. I wait for things to happen.
Okay, so let's roll for initiative to see exactly what happens all here.
Okay.
22. That was a nat 20, apparently.
18. Wow.
Sitting on the ground drinking.
Well, you just won and you're done?
Crow,
Is that what this is?
Leave me to my brews.
Crow, what was yours?
6.
6.
It was a premature electrocution.
All right.
Damn.
So you're
That does imply a hell of a breeding strategy. Shoot lightning at your mates.
all right. So
Hey, she looks cute.
Nick, you
I'll
are
write a monster like that now.
Nick, you are first. So you may act now. You can throw your Molotov or pee on the ground or whatever it is that tickles your fancy.
I am going to ready an action to huck a Molotov at the face of the first thing that looks at me like I am guilty.
You notice, Chris? Oh.
Besides the people who might shoot my dick off.
Nice. All right. So held action, Chris.
I'm gonna cast Divine Favor on myself, boosting my potential to kill things, because they are different from me.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stand there with my halberd at the ready to stab things.
Okay. Let me see exactly what you shot. Boink.
You have a halberd, and I have a sharpened chair leg.
I mean, it's not my fault you didn't bring proper weapons into this fight.
The tent
armor.
that Crow shot with his lightning breath burns to the ground, and you can see within it stands a flaming treasure chest.
Sweet. Anyone want to pour some water on that? Or maybe some more vodka?
I could cast create water and dump water on top of it.
I can
But-
also do that, but it's not my turn.
I mean, it was just my turn, so now it's probably your turn.
The second tent that Crow belched at, out of there, 2 orcs come charging, holding spears.
Beers?
Spears. I mean, maybe also beers. Since I'm
Did you
not
say
sure.
beers or spears?
I said spears, but because you said beers, I'm pretty sure we have to drink anyway.
Just come out double fisting. Hey!
Spears fashioned out of beer bottles.
Oh god.
Beer spottles? Spear bottle?
He's got a glass! I am lower.
Alright, so they will... One will charge at Nick, and one will charge at Chris.
I'm setting my spear against a charge. I don't know if that's a thing in 5th edition.
I had a ready to action to throw a Molotov at the first thing that looked at me like I'm guilty,
Did
so
both
I'm going to
ready
do that
actions,
now.
so go ahead and do those things.
Cool. D20 for attack roll.
Yep.
Plus,
That's a nat one.
Okay.
Wow.
You get a critical hit chart. Roll a percentile die for me, and I'll tell you what hilarious things happen.
I was also throwing a Molotov with this nat one. That's a 7%.
Okay, so
Damn.
7.
That's probably better for you, knowing how he writes his critical miss charts.
Oh, higher should always be better. 'Cause it feels better.
Well, the higher is more hilarious. So, although this one's okay. So, as you
So I
make
won't
your
get my
attack,
dick shot off at least.
yeah, as you make your attack and it misses, you say the least intimidating thing you can think of. You suffer a -4 charisma for 1 hour.
I say that I was looking for the trash can. ...
Boo.
It's not intimidating at all.
Boo.
Blatant coward.
Booing him from the ground behind him.
Nice.
Boo.
And
-4 charisma, not +4.
I stab the orc that charges at me for 12 damage,
Okay.
assuming a 19 hits.
19 will hit, and that will how much? 12.
Yeah, 4 of that's radiant.
Okay. He is still up, but very bloody.
Blood for the blood god.
I'll blood your god.
Booze for the booze throne.
I agree with that one.
We'll drink to that, but first we're gonna kick your ass.
I wrote a boss that's literally made of gin.
Nice.
Is he a Tim?
He's Gin Tim. Yes.
So the first one attacks Nick with a 10 to hit. Does that hit your armor class?
Yeah.
Wait,
I
what's your?
don't have armor.
You have You have a dexterity bonus though, right?
Oh, I have a dexterity bonus? Okay, then that would miss by 2.
Okay. Then
I think, or 1.
Actually, it gets another +2 on the charge. So if it's 12, it would be 12.
Yeah, it'd be 12, so yeah, it's it.
Okay. You take 6 damage from its spear to your lower buttock.
I release the death wail, and I fall to the ground.
The other
Turns
one,
out he had no levels. He was just a guy.
I'm feigning death.
It's like, wow, I didn't expect that guy to be level 0. Huh.
make a let's see, a charisma save in order to feign death.
Oh God! After that penalty, I'm too cowardly to feign death. Ah!
Oh no, I'm dying.
Whoa.
I'm so.
Oh no! I'm dying.
in
My
pain.
buttock is bleeding hemorrhagingly. So I have a good charisma. I assume that's a +3, but I have a -4, so that's a total of 4 on the d20 roll.
It ain't so. I will not go.
One of the
I
orcs
am
is totally
incapacitated.
one of the orcs is totally buying it, and the other one's like, "I see your shit. I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna kick your shit."
Don't kick my shit. My shit is dying. I keep making unconvincing noises.
Chris, I assume your armor class is higher than 7.
Yeah, it's higher than 7.
It misses you, and then it goes to Crow's turn.
Is there any sources of water nearby?
There's a river on the far end of town.
Okay, that's too far. How many of them are there?
There's 2 currently. You assume
Okay.
there are probably more in the tents, though.
Okay. Can I, like, throw my bottle of break my bottle of vodka on the ground to spread it across the ground and use a cantrip?
Yeah, you can just, like, drop it as a move action, so I guess I don't see why you couldn't drop it slightly forcefully as a move action.
Basically, I just want to make the ground wet and then freeze it with shape water.
Neat.
So I'm gonna do that.
Okay,
So it's harder for them to move.
sweet.
I
Gonna do
think
that.
alcohol has a lower freezing temperature than water.
It does.
Bitch, I got magic.
You got magic, guys. Shit. Oh, damn.
Don't question my magic.
Hey,
Or
man, I'll
magic.
question it, but if you got answers, I'll listen, all right?
More magic, boys.
Questioning the laws of physics, we have to drink.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that barrel-aged more than I feel most beers.
Nice.
I thought you said barrel of Asian.
I've got the first buzz that I've had on the podcast in like weeks, which is kind of surprising because I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I think I drank like 4 drinks and I was just like, no buzz. I was like, am I that fat?
Might be that you were drinking the equivalent of, like, Mike's Hard as opposed to
I mean, none of them were that bad. I think they were all
an Irish
something
car
around-
bomb and barley wine, which are harder.
That's fair, because I have effectively already, like, assuming I've had half of this beer, I've probably had about the equivalent of 4 beers now, maybe 5, depending. You know,
It's always better to assume you're just fat.
I'll drink to that. All right. So,
Unless you're Chris.
Crow, you
Unless-
make a magical
Magical ice sheet.
ice sheet underneath him, yes. So, do you have...
If I piss my pants, can he make that into ice too?
I can't.
Then you would have...
I can use
ice
destroy
pants.
water on your piss to remove the to remove just the water parts of piss, so that it's like all the disgusting parts of piss instead.
Neat.
Okay.
That's going on mine. That's gonna be on my gravestone.
That's going to be the name of this podcast episode.
Of all the shit you've said, Chris, I don't
Chris
think that
can
one's going on your
destroy the water
gravestone.
part of your no, that's too long for an episode. It's too convoluted.
Think about it this way: if I freeze his piss, now he's got piss armor. That could be the title. He'd be piss armor.
Piss armor. Piss armor. Okay. Better to be pissed off than pissed on, or in piss armor.
Ain't that the truth?
Anywho,
Yeah.
so
That's debatable.
Crow, do
Camera,
you
focus.
happen to have the saving throw modifier for spells of whatever level that was?
What?
So in order to resist your spells, they should have to make a saving throw, which should theoretically have some sort of a...
Well, I'm not freezing them. I'm just freezing
right,
the
but I'm
fluids
trying
on the
to
ground.
give them a saving throw in order to resist falling on their asses right now, and I think the most fair thing to do would be to give it versus your saving throw modifier for that spell.
Well, the spell doesn't have a saving throw modifier because it's a cantrip that just affects the fluids. If anything, I think they would probably want a dexterity check.
Yeah, I was going to give them a dexterity save, so I'll put the...
I guess B. Hold on.
You're breaking up there. You're both breaking up there. Can I... Lots of breaking up.
Disconnect, reconnect.
Okay, so there it is. The DC for a neutral thing is just the difficulty of the task. So how hard would it be for them to survive? So I would say medium difficulty to avoid slipping on the ice,
Okay.
which would be a 15.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'll call it that. One nat 20s, and the other one also succeeds. So they do not fall right now. However, if they try to move, they'll have to save again versus this. So
Right,
it'll
'cause
still
that
probably
hour-
be
the-
useful. Yeah.
The ice persists for an hour.
Neat. All right, and in that case, it goes from Crow to top of the order, which is Nick.
I will stand up and stab an orc with my sharpened chair leg. The one who did not buy the fact that I was dead. The other one surely now believes I am some sort of zombie vampire god.
Yeah, probably.
Because I am the god of death.
Make an attack roll.
What do I add to this 3?
Your proficiency. You're probably proficient with sharpened chair leg.
Yeah, so you're...
I'm going to say that's a 6 total, which is probably a miss.
What
Plus
ho,
3
you
stabby.
say as you attempt to stab him very heartily and fail very heartily.
I tell him that there was something on his shoulder that looked threatening to him.
Make a charisma check.
That's a 9.
Oh,
Beautiful.
thank you for warning me.
Anytime, buddy. Pat him on the shoulder.
Chris.
I'm going to walk up behind the orc, and since I'm flanking with Nick, I'm going to get advantage.
All right, make a dexterity check to avoid falling on your ass over the booze ice.
Oh no! 18.
The Russian ice.
The Russian ice.
Ooh, call it Russian winter.
18
I-
was
I meant-
Secret attack. Or secret move.
Russian winter.
Why is my dumb meme character the one that's doing better? Anyway, that's a 21 to hit the orc.
Because
my
it's
dumb meme
character.
My
That's
dumb
been
meme
made.
character does nothing. He's too stupid to understand what's going on.
I'm barely even a player character.
And I deal him 14 damage by stabbing him through the chest.
Okay. Now, both of them are very, very bloody, but neither one of them is going down just yet.
But
One of them thinks Nick is dead, and the other one is really pissed at you for stabbing him. So both of them are going to turn to you, Chris. An attempt to dismember you horribly. One of them gets a 6. Is your AC 6 or less? Didn't think so. 19 will probably hit.
A 19 will actually hit.
Alright, he stabs you with his spear, and you take 2 points of damage.
Ow! How could this happen to me? I am, that's actually not that much damage. I think I'm going to be okay.
Nah, man, you look fucked up. You should get a doctor.
Crow.
I don't need a doctor.
You should go see a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
I like the blood.
Crow. It is your turn.
Who's hurting more, Chris or Nick?
Probably Nick.
Okay.
I took
Probably
6
Nick.
damage. I think I'm bloodied, but I'm not sure.
Do you want to pick a class?
So, first,
How do I calculate hit points?
It's your max hit points for whatever the class is. Plus
Can I
your
make up my own class?
modifier.
That would be
I think it's
classy.
Constitution.
Can I play as Bart?
Or Constitution modifier, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bard's a class.
Okay, I'll play as Bart.
Bart.
I'm fine.
Where's my... Hold on. I gotta find a 1d8.
If I drink it with my pinky up, am I fancy?
It's 8 plus your Constitution modifier, Nick.
Oh, okay.
Okay. First, since Nick has just a sharp stick, I'm gonna hand him my staff. Take good care of it, but this hits harder than your stick.
Does it?
Yeah. So now it's I'll tell you about it. But I hand it to him, and then with my second action, since he hasn't moved, I imagine, so you're still within reach of me.
Yep.
I'm gonna smack him in the ass where he got hit with cure wounds.
Does that hurt or feel good?
Yes.
Depends on how hard I hit you. 1d8 plus 2. 5 plus 2. So you restore 7, but you take 1 damage of ass smacking, so it brings you back to back to even.
Wow. I was both aroused and it didn't hurt. That was an efficient ass slap.
That's the way of the druid. So now you have my staff. So now it does +4 to your hit throw, and then your damage if it lands is 1d6 plus 2.
Also, roll a wisdom save or be infatuated with Crow.
Wouldn't it be a charisma?
That too.
Well, I'll do a charisma check against his charisma save.
I'm shipping Crow and Nick in this campaign. You heard it here first.
I rolled a 3 and I have a -1 to charisma, so I got a 2.
Nice!
I got a 19.
So I'm just like,
It was an admirable slap, but you're gonna have to do better.
oh.
If you want my love, which I don't know why you'd want that, but
The woods get very.
Do anything for love.
In my beard.
But I wouldn't do that.
I did something once.
Being a hermit is very well. We should fight the guys trying to kill us.
Chris, it's your turn.
Alright! I'm going to make to stab the orc I was in the process of stabbing before.
You're going to make to stab him. But are you actually going to stab him?
Does a 10 hit him?
No.
Okay, well, my advantage was not that useful, because the higher of the 2 rolls was still a natural 4. So that's my first mess of the game. But I begin to recite the poem. What sphinx of cement and aluminum bashed open their skulls and ate up their brains and imagination? Armok!
Gesundheit.
Go ahead.
aluminum?
Nick. Actually, I forgot Nick was actually supposed to be first, but that's not the point.
Close enough.
I
was
yelled
too
to Gil,
busy.
quick, grab this stick, it will heal you! And then I hit him in the face with it.
He was too busy being.
Oh my god, it
distracted by
hits, I
ass
think.
slap.
That's a 20 total.
That'll hit.
1d6 plus.
Your
Strength modifier.
Oh, plus strength
Modifier.
Yeah, because
That-
it's bludgeoning.
means it's a +5 because of the +2. That's 10 damage. God damn.
Goddamn.
Kwapunku.
How about a woo? All
Oh,
right.
he should have grabbed that.
That will make that orc become dead.
He cave his skull in.
Jimmy, no!
Oh, now I got a
so
stick!
Oh, you killed orc. I will avenge orc in the name of all orcs.
I will avenge you in the name of watermelon.
He attempts to destroy your face. Does a 17 hit you?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought he thought I was dead.
He did until you killed his buddy.
Oh, his buddy's dead instead.
Kind of a dead giveaway.
Ah, dead giveaway.
I was screaming about how upset I was that his buddy died. Can I roll a charisma check with the DSC if it's convincing?
Go ahead.
Oh my god, I got a 19. That's an 18 total
I am
from my end
Not
without penalties
totally
extra.
certain you are trustworthy. He still stabs you. You take 5 damage.
Ouchie.
Doo-doo.
Crow.
And then as a bonus action, because it was supposed to be next turn first, I'm going to cast Healing Word on him to heal him from the hurt that he has suffered.
Jesus, what's with this like adaptable heal shield we got?
Heal 7 HP.
All right, I'll take it.
And that's all of the spells that I have. All of them. 100% of the spells that I have.
I think he said he was going to take off his pants and drink Corona while he goes outside.
Something like that. Alright. I stopped paying attention to what was going on. What am I doing?
I mean, until we
hold
started
on.
doing a video thing, I was never wearing pants during this podcast, so he's...
I mean, this is just from the nips up, so you could still not be wearing pants and we'd be none the wiser.
You know what? I think he's fully dressed. I think he's both not wearing pants and fully dressed.
Okay.
You know, I'm the one guy around that I could see that happening because I wear a kilt, like, all the time. But this... Anyway. Crow, it's your turn.
I just have to be dressed from the beard up.
I'm not even using a webcam. I could be totally naked for all you know.
No, I like to
Correct.
just, like, pretend that you're an actual flapper girl.
The voice has got to be disconcerting.
So, I have a shield on my back that I don't use. Can I just throw it at the last orc?
Yeah.
Okay, can I use it?
Do you want to use it?
Yes, I don't have armor.
I'll here.
I train
God
animals.
I train animals too.
You have so much in
Oh, yeah?
common, you should go out.
Is he/she cute?
I'm a dragon.
What's your charisma score?
You're a dragon?
I'm a dragon.
Oh, I could train you.
I don't know. I'm pretty stupid.
I want to write a steamy
negative
romance novel now that's just like a dragon tamer, like trying to train a dragonborn, and then they fall in love.
The dragonborn has -1 charisma and -1 intelligence. I'm very stupid and bad with people.
I will rate your trainability as intermediate. Somewhere above a chicken. Somewhere below a dolphin.
Jot this one down to room for improvement. Okay. We're just gonna run up and slap the orc then. So, roll d20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Dex. Yeah. Oh, hey, it's a 20.
Ooh.
So
Natural
gonna-
20, you get an automatic critical hit chart. So roll a percentile die.
that's the. What is that?
2d10, and one of them is the 10 place, so you get between 1 and 100.
Okay. 19.
All right.
Remember, this is just my hands.
Your attack hits them right in the throat. He is silenced for a number of rounds equal to the number of rounds this effect lasts. This
So
effect lasts 3 rounds.
So I just slap him across the throat and shut him up.
You just slap him across the throat, and he,
That's happened to me before.
Also, because you critically hit, you get double your damage dice. So whatever the die roll is, you get 2 of that die roll.
what is unarmed damage in 5th edition?
It's just a solid 3. So, double, so 6. I slap him for 6.
Neat. All right,
I think that kills him.
that does actually kill him.
I just collapse his throat.
Throat slap.
Whoa!
If you happen to speak choking orc, you can tell that the last thing he says is, "I did not see that coming."
I think he said that there's beer deeper in the camp.
Oh yeah, let's go on and go deeper in the camp now.
Well, now hold on a sec. There's a treasure chest there that's on fire. I pull out a watermelon and I'm going to throw it at the treasure chest to put out the fire.
Okay.
Oh,
Call Hilo.
Hi.
I think he took perform watermelon.
It
Should take-
douses the fire partially, but the rind begins to sizzle after a few minutes. A few moments.
Oh,
Minutes?
Fried
I
melon.
stare at this for a few minutes before I'm like,
Like,
that's not
Wait.
working very well. is
I'm
it?"
going to look at you, and I'm going to look at the Dragonborn, and then I'm going to take out my water skin, and I'm going to pour a bit of water on the fire.
the water puts the fire out.
And then I'm going to open the treasure chest.
You guys gonna eat that fried melon?
There
Go
are
for it.
I'm willing to
4
share.
burned tacos.
Oh, wait.
Burned.
I pick up part of the burnt
Struggle.
watermelon and I say
One of the
to...
burned tacos.
Oh god, what's the dragonborn's name?
Jib?
Zip. Jib.
Jib.
Jib?
Alright, Jib. If you want this, you're gonna have to roll over 3 times. Can you do that for me, buddy?
Can I roll for rolling? Oh, let me roll my dexterity. 13, 14. Do I do it?
What was he trying to do?
What's the?
Roll
I'm
over
trying to
3
roll.
times.
Let's see. Task difficulty. Let's say since it's my first time, this is medium, so it's 15. So I'll do it. Let's see. Okay, so my first roll ended up being a 14. So I almost get there, but then I flop back over. Second time I rolled a 2, so I just kind of fall on the ground. And then the third roll was a nat 1. So what does the chart say? Sean, how bad did I fuck up that third?
Roll a
Just snaps his neck, it's just like,
percentile
"Whoa!"
die.
In all my years of training animals, this is the first.
54.
54. Your butt itches as you're about to attack, so you scratch it. Unfortunately, your weapon is still in your hand and it hits you directly. Like inside the
Since
butt.
I don't have a weapon, I fall on the ground, then roll over to itch my ass, but roll on my hand and just injure my
Yeah,
hand.
so you take your weapon damage, so 3 plus your strength or whatever, I think.
Oddly enough, you're not the first character to get a hand stuck up your butt in D&D game.
Oh god, that was terrible.
Can I have the melon now? It hurts!
Oh no, this is nothing compared to what Chris is talking about. You'll be fine. I hand him a watermelon rind. He's like, you did good, boy. Poor girl, I don't actually know.
I don't think I know
Dragon
either.
Fang.
I'm gonna lift the tail.
Is this...
You'd be
Do I
able to
recover
tell
health?
if you could, customize your genitals like in Cyberpunk 2077.
Do I recover health? How much melon health do I recover? What do I roll for melon
Is
recovery?
this a magical melon?
These are completely mundane melons that are acquired through magic.
when they're
Well,
roasted.
not exactly magic. It's something else.
They're special melons that, when roasted by the magic of a dragonborn's fire, obtain healing properties.
It's a damn shame that you used Dragonborn Lightning instead.
I'm gonna give you
Yes,
a
but the fire was
1%
caused by the
chance for
lightning.
that to be true.
Fair enough.
Call a number.
Huh?
I'm gonna give you a 1% chance for that to be true. Call a number between
Okay.
1 and 100, and if I roll the same number, then sure, the melon heals you.
69.
Son of a
Great.
bitch! No, it's 81.
Great choice.
Okay.
I have a supplier for the
Oh.
melons, so I don't know what kind of melons they are. All I know is they sell pretty well.
I got some melons.
I tried.
Ooh, look at them tits.
The people on the audio
Anyway.
version of this podcast are gonna be like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
Talking about the melons, obviously.
Yeah, melons. Yeah, I'll trade you your melons for a banana and 2 kiwis.
Let's go fight the next orcs.
I pull out a peach.
Where do you have all this fruit from?
Oh, I keep it in the back. Shit,
It's a
how do I
bardic.
hold this peach? I have a spear and a shield. I drop the peach and move over to the next tent.
The staff. It's no spear.
I'll
Oh,
go with you over to the next tent. As the only person here probably wearing actual armor.
I have a shield. Perhaps you could purchase me armor.
I have 2
Who am I
gold.
kidding? I don't need armor.
I have 2 gold.
You enter the.
Dragonborn.
I
Gibby.
have a stick.
I'll go over to the next tent. Counterclockwise direction.
Wait. You said there was tacos in the treasure chest?
There
I
were,
already
but
ate a
they're all
taco. I ate a
burned.
taco.
Wait, the currency here is edible
Yeah?
and spoilable?
I'm feeling a little cheated.
What's so crazy? I'm going to eat more tacos.
All the.
Well, these people are complaining about tacos. I'll eat more of these burned tacos.
They're pretty crispy.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Pretty tasty. Oh, hi, Carrie.
Hello.
what's up, buddy?
Hello.
You're
He
on a
says,
podcast.
Sean said, sup, buddy. And that you're on a
Not
podcast.
much.
You're on a podcast, Carrie.
Chris says you're on a podcast, Carrie.
What are you guys talking about?
Just playing D&D in the middle of the night.
Just
You know,
stuff.
just playing D&D and stuff.
Oh, did you talk about
Mistakes.
Millhouse?
Drinking
I have not
beer.
talked about Millhouse, because Millhouse is a monster.
No, he's not. That
He's not as much of a monster as some of as Jackson.
I was.
He
a
said Millhouse is
mistake.
not as much of a monster as Jackson, and that is true. Because
that is
Jackson is
true.
a rapist. Anywho,
I'm not going to go into detail on that on this podcast. This podcast doesn't need any additional elaboration on that.
Anyway,
This
guys.
is a PG podcast,
Yeah.
kid friendly.
Yeah, except for all the times you've said fuck.
Well, we've said fuck like only one time, right? You can say fuck like at least 2 times and get away with a PG-13, right?
We've said
So-
fuck 4 times now.
Oh, fuck that.
5,
I still haven't used my fuck card yet.
6,
Fuck, what are you waiting for?
7.
let's go to the next
Are we gonna
fucking
make
tent.
a new rule that we have to drink every time we say fuck?
No, I don't want to die.
Fucking tent.
I'll drink to
I want
that.
to die of alcohol poisoning. Let's just move on.
Alcohol poisoning is the only way I want to die. But I don't want to do it till slightly later.
Oh,
So,
Until next year.
Nick, you said you were going to go into one of the tents?
I will follow him.
Sure, I'll go into the tent of Bilge Cradle McMuscle Massey.
It is unclear which tent he is in, if any.
Let's search.
go.
I enter the first tent I see and I say, Bilge Cradle McMuscle Massey.
You enter. There are four orcs sitting at a taco bar and another orc behind serving them all tacos. And they all turn to you and say in perfect unison, Bilge Cradle not in here, but he in camp.
I exit the tent and I go to the next tent and I say, Bilge Cradle McMuscle Mass.
I think I remember this adventure.
Yeah, I was wondering if I wasn't sure if I had run you through this one before or not, so I was like, whatever, it's a level 1 one-shot, how is this going to go wrong?
I'm pretty sure that we lost 2 characters, and then my character just made friends with the leader.
Okay.
Afterward.
So you go in, and there is a sign above an orc sitting behind a counter. The sign reads, Magic Shop. Hello, would you like to peruse my wares?
Yeah, put them out on the counter.
He puts on the counter 4 potions of Cure Light Wounds, 2 potions of Water Breathing, 3 scrolls of Feather Falls, and a taco.
I'm going to pick them up one at a time, go, put it in my bag. Put it in my bag. Put it in my bag. Continue to put it in my bag until I grab the taco. I'm like, I'll set the taco back down, and then I'm going to stab him.
Make an attack roll.
Are tacos magic?
That's a good
9.
question, isn't it? 9 will not hit.
Okay.
Roll for initiative.
I'll roll for initiative. My initiative is 3. Shit.
Oh.
Mine is
7
4.
or 8. Mate.
Alright, Crow is first with 8. A lot of high rolls here.
I'm gonna run up and just smack him to try and get him out of the way so that I can grab the taco.
Okay. Make a strength check and he will roll a strength.
I'm gonna say, no, Jip, no,
To
Jip.
resist.
Taco later, you have to kill the shopkeeper first.
6.
He surprisingly struggles against you. He doesn't look very strong, but he musters all the strength that he has, and he holds you at bay. You do not manage to move him at all.
Can I roll dexterity for the taco? This is the ultimate goal.
Sure.
13.
He sees you reaching for it and manages to keep you just barely scraping so close
So
to
he-
the taco, but you can't quite reach it.
Help!
That's right. Put your hand on his head so while he's like swinging his fists at you, but just so that his fists are out of range.
I can't reach the taco!
It's called-
Someone help!
I'm going to stab the orc some more when it's my turn.
It's Nick's turn next.
Whose turn is it?
Nick.
Should be mine. I
Yeah,
think.
it's probably Nick's.
I'm gonna pull out my whip and whack Jib and be like, "Bad Jib, you can't go for the taco yet. Bad. Supposed to slay the shopkeeper, who is completely innocent and devoid of guilt. But alas,
Alas, is
Sir
she
Dick
hot?
McShittington has declared it so."
Sir Dick McShittington.
And then I'll whip the shopkeeper in the face.
I took a slap at him.
That's a 5 total.
I still have this whiskey here, so I'm going to drink some because of whatever's going on.
So that'll be a fun noise for audio-only listeners who can't see what you're doing.
Cheers.
Right there. Hmm?
Yeah.
He was attacking my shirt earlier. It was adorable.
I attacked your shirt.
My cat, I took my shirt off, and my cat grabbed it and rabbit kicked it for a solid 10 seconds.
Because fuck your shirt.
Now he's biting it.
Nice. All right. What was going on, Nick? Did you do something?
Yeah, I whipped Jib
whipped
because
Jib.
Jib went for the taco instead of the objective.
Jib, your ass
And then he
hurts
failed
a
at
little more
both.
now since you scratched
means
it so
punishment.
hard it started to bleed, or whatever the fuck that said.
Not in the ass, just wherever. And then I'm gonna whip the. And then I tried to whip the
actually,
shopkeeper.
I have a
and
table
missed.
of random body parts.
All right,
So
Okay,
So
that's the thing.
yeah.
just don't say left ventricle.
Don't say left testicle.
I mean, left ventricle would be worse than left testicle.
So I'm gonna figure out exactly where you hit him. Was 45, which is the
Pinky
top teeth.
Ah!
Oh,
Around and hit me in
Ow.
the teeth.
Don't doubt my aim, boy. And then I promptly missed the shopkeeper.
But it's okay because I recoiled in pain, which pulled the shopkeeper forward over his counter because he still had a hold of me. So I think that gives Chris advantage on his attack.
I'm going to take that as the gospel and roll it with advantage.
all right, you will do that on your turn, which is actually surprisingly before Dem.
Holy shit. Does a 12 hit?
Look, which guy was he? Orc mage? Yes. No. No. Nope.
12. Okay.
A 12.
Well, a
is
natural-
miss.
A natural 6 probably shouldn't hit anyway.
Usually. It was your own fault for rolling a 6. What the fuck did you do that for?
What the fuck are you thinking, man?
My other roll was a 4.
The mage casts sleep. Everybody make a wisdom save.
We don't get a saving throw for that. You just roll 5d8.
Oh, right. It's 5th edition, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're probably all dead. I will say, it was a smart idea.
To attack a random shopkeeper?
No, for the shopkeeper to cast sleep on us. Attacking a random shopkeeper was fucking stupid.
Oh, glad we're on the same page.
Okay, so he rolls 22 total with his sleep spell.
Okay, who has the lowest current hit
so
points?
whoever's the lowest current hit points is taken out of that pool, and then if there's enough left to sleep another one of you. So, who?
I have 12 hit points.
12.
I have
Who
10.
has 10? Chris
Let's see.
has-
I have 9 left.
So, Chris
I fall asleep.
falls asleep, and then Crow falls asleep.
Peas.
And in this edition, that just has like a set time of a minute or some bullshit, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it's an hour.
Holy shit.
Until, like, they take damage or get slapped awake or whatever.
Yeah. So,
I'm going to apologize to the shopkeeper.
okay.
Like so. I apologize for the ridiculous actions of my pet and my comrade. I will drag them out of your shop and tie them up and whip their dicks promptly.
Take all of my
Okay,
wares
so-
out of that one's satchel first.
Absolutely. You know what? Just take the whole damn satchel. I don't give a shit.
Okay. Chris, you lose all of your possessions.
Oh, no!
wait, that's a big satchel. I'll take the satchel. Sorry. I think he'll need some of these. I'll need some of his things. I hand the potions back that I think are the ones he took.
Chris,
There ain't any more damn potions in there.
Okay, I take all the potions out of the bag and put them on the counter and say, "Good day, sir."
Thank you.
I'll
Your
drag these two
patronage
back
is
to the bar.
appreciated. Please always remember to come back to Kurg's magical tax and shit.
I will. Thank you, Kerb.
Is he
Drag them
related
back
to
to the
Bob?
bar?
Nope.
Possibly.
Bob does taxidermy. I do tax.
Says the disembodied voice of Christopher Audet.
Magic
The
tax.
player character.
Who are you talking to, man? You're crazy. All right, now that I got these two unconscious and stripped down.
Doo-doo.
What?
So,
I'll put collars on both of them with little name tags.
okay. You can also shake them awake with a standard action if you would like to. Whenever you're done doing your whatever you're doing to them. To them.
I need to get some treats. Oh, I have more watermelons. All right. I'll fry up some watermelons. Make them into nice little rinds. And then I'll put collars on them and put leashes on those collars, and I'll whip them both awake.
Ah!
Wake up! We have work to do.
We got work to do.
Yes, we do. And if you want these watermelon rinds, you had better perform admirably.
I don't really want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today.
You don't want to do the work today?
Don't wanna work.
5 more minutes,
Just
Mom.
wanna pound on my dick
I'm not
all
ready.
Oh, fine. 5 more minutes, and then we have work to do
I
today.
don't wanna
I
work.
don't want to go to school
Just wanna
today.
pound on my dick
Okay,
all
well,
There's no
day.
school.
Just in time, Ian. We can do the work.
I don't wanna work.
You're not tied up.
Just wanna
Oh,
pound
I'm
on
gonna
my
stand
dick
up.
all day. I don't wanna work. Just wanna pound on my dick all day.
I'm gonna pick up the Dragonborn and sling it over his shoulder since it's feeling particularly sluggish at the moment, and I'm gonna take Flapper, which is the name on your name tag, and we're gonna keep looking for Grindle Cringe or whatever the fuck his stupid name is. I walk into another orc tent now with Flapper and Dragonborn over his shoulder and say, "Grindle Cringe, the overly musculated."
Are you Grindle Cringe? We don't remember his name anymore. No one remembers anybody's name anymore.
You enter this one, and there are 16 orcs standing around a keg. He's not in here. Want to do a keg stand?
No. Maybe later, though.
Later.
How about your unconscious friend there? Does he want to do a keg stand?
I don't have any unconscious friends. This one's just lazy.
Ah,
Isn't that right, Jib? Shake him.
does he want to do a keg stand?
No, he hasn't earned a cake stand. He has not been a good boy today.
Oh,
I exit the tent.
they continue doing keg
I
stands.
go to the next tent and say, "Grumblewald McCrindle Cringe, the musculated and two pure."
You enter, there are,
You know, I'm starting
Two
to feel like
orcs
my
in
role has
here,
been taken over.
and this looks like an armory room where they keep a buttload of weapons.
Do they have armor?
They do.
Sweet. You didn't describe any orcs, so I'm going to take some armor.
You said there were 2 orcs in here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I thought you were talking
see
about the orcs when you asked if they had armor. The orcs are the ones with the
Oh.
armor.
Oh, Jesus. All the armor in the armory's worn?
Water everywhere. Not to drop the drink.
One of them looks you straight in the eye and says, another one says, I think that's racist.
I'm gonna
don't
kill you
know
for
what race
racism.
You are, sir.
Roll for initiative.
It's not a civilized thing to do. 17.
13.
Are you gonna roll, Crow?
Crow?
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. I checked out. I didn't know what was going on. We're rolling for initiative. I rolled a 7.
Crow checked out. We have to drink.
I'm almost out.
I'm almost stout.
I am out.
Get it?
Ha!
Get it? Stout.
You need to drink again for that shot.
I'll drink to that. Okay. All right. And sorry, what was yours, Crow?
7.
Okay.
Still sluggish.
Their natural 20, surprisingly, is better than everybody else's not natural 20.
Oof.
I'm gonna say, Jib, use tackle.
Jib uses growl instead.
God damn it, Jib.
Jib is too
Jim
high
is moping
level.
around.
You don't have enough badges to train me.
Jim
Fuck
is
do I
moping
need
around.
badges for?
All right. So the 2 orc guards attack you, Nick.
But there's 2 dudes in front of me.
You look like the leader or something. And you're the one that's telling them to attack.
But Flapper is in front of me and Jib is on my shoulder at the moment.
My name's not Flapper.
One of them hits you and the other one misses. You take 6 points of spear to the dick damage.
Ouchie. They hit me in my special spot.
Oh no.
Actually, not really.
Like, does it hurt?
Yes, totally. Ouchie. Bending over in pain, agony. Ow. Drop Jib on the floor.
Jib, you smack to the floor and you awake.
Melons. Where are we?
Jib, sick 'em, boy.
Who are you?
Me?
No. The ugly one.
I kill him. Sick 'em.
Chris, it is your turn.
Rip out his throat with your teeth.
But it's not my turn.
I'm going to stab the one that made the racist war cry. And I'm going to do it while flanking Nick.
Okay.
With Nick. 23 is the higher of those rolls.
That will
My
hit.
name is Bart.
And I deal him 14 damage. As I recite the next line. Armok, solitude, filth, ugliness, ash cans and unobtainable dollars, children screaming under the stairways, boys sobbing in armies, old men weeping in the parks.
I bet somebody listening to the podcast just got a boner.
Yeah, probably. Like one person.
Everyone else is confused.
Yeah, just like, what are you talking
I'm not
How
confused.
did we get here?
Nick, it's your turn.
How much damage? So, 14 damage.
14 damage.
How hurt is that guy?
He is all of the hurt, but not any of the dead yet.
I'm gonna whap him one. And let's see if we can make him the dead. That's a 20 total. Wait. Do I add dex to accuracy?
You're using a whip?
I'm using a staff.
That would be
You add strength.
strength.
To the accuracy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a freaking 24. That's nuts. Okay.
It's funny playing with somebody who hasn't played, like, basically anything since first edition.
I played 4th edition.
And then apparently forgot
I-
most of it.
DM'd 4th edition, and it was awful. That's 8 damage from Staff of Wonka Bonk.
The racist one is dead.
Yay!
You always came in last.
Looks like he came last in the race.
Now
I'll
it's
see
my
myself
turn.
out.
That will make it
Racist guys finish last. I don't know.
Crow's turn.
It me. Haha, I rolled an 18.
That will hit.
Yes, slap him for 3. Right across the ass.
Ooch, ooch, he says.
I'm on the ground, so it's the only thing within reach.
Does no one wear ass armor in this town?
No one wears ass armor in this town.
Haven't you ever heard of assless chaps? Come on.
He's a little turned on by your attack, so he decides to only attack Chris or Nick.
I'm going to
Jib wins!
I'm going to give Jib a melon rind cooked to perfection
Yay!
as a reward for admirable service.
Jib did good.
You've done good, Jib. I'm proud of you.
Nick, does a 16 hit your armor class?
Yes.
He hits you for 3 damage with his spear of epic spearness.
I find it funny that I'm being treated like an animal, but I have a +4 to animal handling. Myself. But I'm too stupid to know the difference.
Chain of animal command.
All right.
I'm the apex tamer.
And now we will have a short commercial break. And by that, I mean I have to pee and go get another beer, so the rest of the party is going to talk about video games because we didn't have a tough video game topic today. So, Crow, it is apparently on you to decide the video game topic for the next couple of minutes.
The video game topic of the next couple minutes. Okay. Here's a fun one. What do you guys think do you think the next gen console is going to drop this year, or are they going to push it back to next year? Given the state of affairs of the world and all.
Probably next year, given for the reasons you described, although they are pushing the hype train as hard as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's interesting because most of the quote-unquote generational consoles are being developed by companies and countries that are going to be the least affected by this crisis. So I don't think there's going to be much disruption in that sort of industry.
Well, I think the consoles are produced in China.
Nah.
They were just like conceptualized and run from Japan.
China has all the fiddly bits and cool little basically tech markets where you can prototype electronics. They're really cool.
I still think they're going to release it this year just because they don't want to miss out on the holiday window and just go in with limited supplies. So that'll arbitrarily run up demand, which will help boost their stocks theoretically. You know?
To be fair, the only console I've bought in the last 8 years has been the Switch.
A good choice. Which is
so
now
I know jack shit about consoles.
The
And I think I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo sticks with the Switch while Microsoft and Sony go with their PS5 and their Xbox whatever.
most game consoles have a life cycle of around 10 years. That being said, sometimes that cuts into the next generation. But I mean, I can very easily see Nintendo getting 10 years out of this. And a fun little tidbit of news that I'm surprised Sean never went over. Maybe went over it last week, but I think they came out this week. With the Switch having come, they've sold 55.7 million units in its lifetime. So that's about 1.5 million units per month. So keeping up this pace, they'll crack 100 million Switches sold by 2022. And by the end of their 10-year life cycle, they will be the highest-selling console by a factor of 20 million, blowing the PS2 out of the water and then some.
Wow.
So yeah, Switch is doing very, very well. I'm very happy.
Might do the best.
You having fun there, Sean?
Of course I am. Welcome back to A Drink to the Past, the only podcast where instead of commercial breaks, I make up weird bullshit and I don't cut the podcast because I'm a lazy dick. So you have to suffer through whatever just happened, which was probably slightly hilarious. Today's second beer of the week for me, or I guess third, because I had a Guinness kind of in my cocktail.
This is a podcast.
What the fuck do you think you're doing?
You even relayed the like, you're on a podcast
The name
right now.
of the Discord channel you are chatting in is $0 Productions Podcast.
No, it's ZDP. I don't know what those mean.
It still says
And the little button
podcast
just says
in-
DP. What is that, Zubble penetration? That's the first thing I think of.
Today's second beer of the week is the Purest Clean Lager, which is honestly like not much better than Bud Light. So I'm gonna spike it with some gin to make it more interesting because this
Not that pure anymore.
no. It's
What if you spiked it with caltrops?
that would be very spiky.
Probably cut his throat up.
A little.
Okay,
why would-
fine. We'll settle for Legos.
Spike with Legos.
Okay. So yeah, so I have a
Swearing
more
out loud.
in-depth review of this on one of the YouTube videos we added last week, which was me doing some kind of music thing. So check that out if you're interested. But for the most part, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, it's some clean lager. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but it's like weak as shit, and it's like, like it tastes mostly like watered down beer flavor. So, yeah, I'll give this a normal 3 out of 10, but let's see how it is if I spice it up a little bit with some gin here. That actually is surprisingly not shitty. I mean, not as shitty as I thought it would be. Like, I don't actually like lagers or gin, but that's not the worst thing I've had on the podcast. Although I did have a mixed drink that we lovingly regarded as poison. Anyway.
Shall we continue?
Indeed.
Leave her in the middle of murdering some innocent people.
Yeah,
Yes.
innocent. I mean, they declared war on any random schmuck who went in a pub, so... Are they...
No. I'm like definitely chaotic evil at this point.
I was gonna say, you have made an attempt to stab everyone in sight except Nick and I.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm not holding.
And that's
my
only because I admired his dick shooting skills.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be fair, you guys are not. You don't have green skin. I'm not
I have
racist.
blue skin.
They tend to be kinder to people who stab people with green skin and pointy teeth than to people with like not green skin and non-pointy teeth.
Does my skin being blue and scaly mean that they somewhat take pity on me?
I just
That's
assume
why
that
they
you were.
attack me less.
I just assume that you were a member of as one of the snakes of Snakes Canyon.
I like girls who are blue and scaly.
As you exit... Oh, wait, no, hold on. You're actually still fighting a guy, aren't you? So there's still one more...
Yeah.
We can say that he's dead. Move on.
Sorry, there was almost a cutscene, and then I was like, "Oh wait, no, I shouldn't load this yet because there's still an orc not dead." Yeah.
So close.
Kill the orc. Whose turn was it? Dem just went. Chris, so you gonna kill the orc?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that even a question?
It's a good thing that I'm flanking because the higher roll of those was an 18.
I feel like the
7
sound
damage.
of Nick drinking is inexplicably really like thumpy and like, and it was like kind of weird. I'm not sure why that is.
No one wants to say what
Just
it
like
sounds
that.
like.
Hold on, I'm not drunk enough for this.
My beer is empty and I'm sad.
Here, you can have some of mine. Open your mouth. Open your mouth.
I don't think it works that way. I'm sad.
This is the thought that counts.
Yeah, now it's like a gin and tonic, but it's not like fizzy, so it's not as good as a gin and tonic.
Would a gin and Sonic hit your blood faster?
Maybe. Unless you're immune to Sonic. Some creatures are immune to Sonic. I'm immune to fire.
I know an Indian guy who's immune to electricity.
Chris, are you going to hit
It
this
just
guy
doesn't
or
work
what?
on him. Yeah, I hit him for 7
Oh,
damage.
good. He's dead. I think. Let me look at his
Oh,
hit
good,
points.
he's
Hold on.
dead.
No, he's not quite dead. Okay. Fuck. Nick, do stuff.
I say to him, listen, Orc. Things will be better for you if you just pretend you're dead, and we can all move on with our lives.
But slap him so you could take his armor.
Then me have no honor.
You never had honor to begin with.
He cries and runs away.
Attack of opportunity.
Do it.
God, I feel like declaring the attack of opportunity is on its own an opportunity strike, so it's legit. Oh well, I'm gonna take the armor off of the other one who perished and equip it. What do I got? Is it some shitty cowhide?
Half plate.
Oh shit. That's really
okay.
useful.
Pretty good for a primitive place, but wait.
That's more.
This is not a primitive world, and it's just like this is like the shitty boony part of it.
He's the bonus.
I mean, they have tacos and half plate in Orcs.
Welcome to the bonus.
I mean, you haven't even encountered the Mountain Dew yet.
The Mountain Dew.
The Mountain Dew.
Please tell me that's a mod for Mountain Blade.
That would be pretty great. If it was.
Mountain Dew is a homebrew item in my campaigns, which bestows upon the user the effect of haste in version 3.0, regardless of what version you're playing, because 3.0 haste was the most broken version of haste.
What does 3.0 haste do?
It gives you an extra standard action, which for spellcasters means an extra spell cast.
It's certainly not the most OP haste I've seen.
Oh no,
Mr. Doubles your attack actions.
No, the doubles your attack action haste, less OP than gives you an extra spell cast haste.
I'm going to look at what kind of weapons they got.
They both had spears, nothing very interesting, but also within is 2 bastard swords, 2 great swords, 2 crossbows, 50 bolts, 1 great axe, 1 great club, and a taco.
I'm going to eat the taco.
I pick up the taco before someone can fucking eat it, and I'm going to examine it for what makes it special.
Okay. Chris, you are higher in the initiative, so you eat the taco just before Nick can get to the taco.
Science,
Because I'm lazy and don't want to resolve that with dice rolls.
I'm the boss. I'm gonna leave the tent and go to the next tent.
Alright.
I did say that I have him on a leash earlier. Roll a strength check, I guess,
Yeah, Chris,
and maybe just drag me over to the taco.
Strength check.
Okay.
Oh my god, I rolled a nat 19. What is that, 21? No, it's 22.
That beats my roll of a 15.
Chris, you
Okay,
are
I
back.
prevent you from getting to the taco, but by extension, I also cannot get to the taco.
Taco for Jim!
Oh god.
Dying on it.
Jim gets
Okay,
the taco.
you roll a strength check too to see if your combined strength.
20 bitches! I yank you both. Send you flying through the tent walls while I grab it.
You fly.
Are you gonna put up?
You fly through the tent walls into the next tent, at which there is a table, and 3 orcs at the table
I grab a
are
crossbow.
playing cards, each orc having a taco at their plate.
So much tacos.
That orc
I
is cheating.
point my crossbow nowhere.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Can you please tell us where Quandary the Constipated is? I'm not good with names. Where's your leader?
Every time a crow makes a bad joke, we have to drink.
I don't remember the name. I'm sorry.
Every time anybody
All right,
makes a bad joke
gotta
on this
get
podcast,
another one, I
that's
guess.
actually the rule. We have to drink. So
Gotta go get a new drink. Hold on.
Oh man. Okay, so we're apparently having a new commercial break. So, Chris, let's see, another video game topic for the week. Have you ever played a video game that made you physically sick?
Yes, several, including the original Half-Life.
Oh, I guess you're
So-
you're the kind of person that's actually like an easy pick for, because you actually get physically sick at first-person shooters and shit, huh?
And there are always games that I'm like, I really want to enjoy them. I want to have fun with them. But I start playing them, and then I have to actually lay on my stomach and try not to throw up after about 15 minutes. It's only gotten worse with age.
Now that I've had this purist filled with gin for a little while, this is actually starting to be really gross.
Okay.
I bet it would be gross.
Oh, Crow got a big bottle.
Yep, this is literally all I have left. Is just a big thing of Irish cream.
Well,
Jesus.
fucking drink to that. Had some Irish cream earlier in that car bomb. There you go.
So this
He's
podcast
just
has
drinking materials straight.
Yeah, it's my punishment.
gone on for
I have nothing to mix it
2
with right now.
hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I was gonna put you to the boss encounter next here, so we can wrap this up. So the ground begins to quake around you. Then you realize that the ground isn't actually quaking, it is completely still. But it seems to be quaking because of the sudden quaking of the trees. Thank you.
There's trees?
Yes.
Ooh, this beer's good.
Oh, what you drinking, Nick? You gotta rate it. Ooh, Colorado Native Porter. I haven't had that one. I've had a few Colorado Natives, but most of their stuff is like lighter. I didn't know they made a porter, so that's kind of cool. What do you rate that on a scale of 3 to 17?
First sip, I'm gonna call it a 14.
Fuck yeah.
This is like that
not
actually
bad.
has flavor.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I'll have to go check that out. All right. Out of the center tree jumps a massive orc clad in armor wrought from skulls, human, orc, elf, and squirrel. His only metal equipment is a pair of heavy-looking gauntlets inlaid with silver. Much noise my camp makes, says he, peering through his eyelids, furled with rage. My men, not so good at crushing, but I make up for them. He pops his knuckles, and then rotates his neck, stretches out his back, and thrusts his crotch forward, all of which produce various popping sounds. Unless
You might want to get that checked
you
out.
want to pay me off.
No, I'm going to pull out my second gun that I definitely had and shoot him in the dick.
Make an attack roll with your apparent gun.
Chris, I understand why you write your content the way you do. You write it for yourself and what you would do.
11.
I'll take it as a badge of pride that you just didn't murder my guards in the first town.
11 will miss.
I usually don't play characters this dedicated to violence.
And then every now and then you're just like, I'm going to make Turol again.
Every once in a while. Earl.
Well, that's a
I'm-
garbage initiative.
Rolling initiative.
I'll roll
I
initiative.
suppose we should roll initiative, huh?
My initiative is
I
10.
got a 6.
I hope if it didn't. Okay.
Nick, you said
I rolled a
6, and Chris, what did you say?
10.
Okay.
13.
Crow, you go first.
I'm gonna cast Create Water, because I can make it in just a 30 cubic feet, so it's just going to be like about the size of his head, just a column of water, just drop it straight on his head to see if I can waterboard him.
Okay. I will.
Isn't that more like giving him a shower?
A golden shower.
I mean, it's a fair bit of water. That's
You have to be laying down with your ankles above your head to be waterboarded, I believe.
What?
I mean, the weight of that much water is still pretty hefty. So, I'll give him a save for half damage against, I don't know, 2d6?
fair. 4, 5, so 9.
Alright, he takes full damage. Chris, your turn.
I'm going to charge up to him and activate my War Priest style. And make 2 attacks versus him. While flanking with Crow, your character was in melee?
No, I was in the back.
Okay. So,
You guys got flung past me.
a 21 and a 20.
Those will both hit.
Okay. And that will be 12 damage total.
Okay.
Ha-ha! Ha! I stab him from 5 feet away.
He says.
Also, you should know that skulls make terrible armor. Like they're very brittle.
Especially squirrel skulls. Make bad armor and bad shoes.
Go ahead.
You make squirrel skull shoes?
Look, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to, okay?
But me kinky. Me want no answer.
Alright. Stab him, please. Who's next?
Whose turn is
Whose
it?
turn
Hold on.
is it?
Oh fuck! I got 2 initiative things here. What is? I didn't erase the first one. Bilge Cradle.
Well
That's him.
done,
Okay.
Commander.
The one with Bilge Cradle is probably the one that is going on right now. So he's gonna do shit.
His name's Bilge Cradle.
Bilge Cradle, the needlessly muscular.
Jeez Louise.
All right.
It was way off.
I could have sworn the first half of that had 2 or 3 syllables.
Syllables?
Syllables.
All right. He makes a nut punch. Versus
who?
you, Chris. He's mad at you for hitting him so hard. What's your armor class?
16.
All right. He manages to hit you. He punches you in the nuts for... It's hard to read these dice in the dark when I'm slightly buzzed. 1 plus 6. 7. I
say,
do
ow.
basic math. Fear me.
Me nuts. I'm bloodied.
All right.
What are you saying, that the Zork is
And
financially
you must
illiterate?
make a fortitude save or be stunned for 1 round. And by fortitude, I mean constitution save. I might.
That was a 10.
I might have written this in a 3.5 version and just picked it up and kind of fudged all the numbers to make it 5th.
So I imagine a 10 won't make.
10 will not make. You are stunned for 1 round. Oh, ho, ho.
Okay, I'm going to be stunned for 1 round. I'm just going to throw up all over him and fall to the ground.
Just on the ground holding your nuts.
Yeah.
Breathing very heavily.
Nick.
Scream, Armok! Blah!
family appropriate time. You've been just killing things before they could struggle properly.
Nick, your turn.
All right, so our most capable combat person is on the ground with their nuts. Jib, it's been a while. Why don't you drink some vodka and cough at our boy Bilge Cradle?
Ooh, sweet. I'll take
So I
that.
hand him a bottle of vodka, and then I'm gonna dunk my crossbow at Dickwater. Dunk. Ah, dude, that's bad. That's
We screwed
like-
up his name. We have to drink. Now bump the microphone with my beer.
That was
I
a
have to
12
drink.
versus AZC.
12 will move.
Balls. It gets deflected by a squirrel skull. Damn those squirrels.
Turns out they do make good armor.
I mean, they make a difference. I wouldn't call it good armor, but they make a difference.
Still not good shoes, though.
Damn it, if I reload this crossbow, I'm going to have to drop the shield.
Just make sure if you make squirrels out of, or shoes out of squirrel skulls, you make the teeth point down. Not up.
That's what
But
holds
when
them
you
in place.
kick people, how will they feel the bite?
Yes.
Next.
Fuck, I'd say. Grow!
Hey, I'm gonna take another swig and then belch another lightning bolt at him.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think armor does jack shit to lightning.
I need to take
So,
one
I
of these
think he
watermelons
gets
and
a
fill it with vodka
reflex
for you.
save versus it or something. Chris,
Does
do you
he?
know how?
He gets a deck save for half damage.
He's also covered in water right now.
Yeah, he should get disadvantage on the save.
Yeah. And he's also wearing metal on his wrists. So
And silver.
He fails his deck save. Bum, bum, bum.
lightning blast.
That was like the best burp we've ever had on the podcast. We have
Yeah.
to drink.
Sound effects.
It was done purely on command.
Chris, you almost made me choke. What the fuck?
I'm good at that.
Apparently,
Should have been there when he spilled curry on my carpet.
was it?
You deal him 2d6 electric damage.
Was that better or worse than the time he threw up in Kyle's hair?
5.
We should not talk about that on the podcast.
11!
11 damage or what?
Bolt him for 11.
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
I'll talk about that after the podcast if you guys want.
So that was a funny. See, yeah, we should go over that story when we're done here. So hold on, fuck, whose turn is it? Crow, you just went, so it's Chris.
Yeah.
Chris didn't throw up on anybody.
No, don't talk about it on the podcast.
Just leave the mystery.
Yeah.
Who did I just say is Chris? Is your fucking turn.
I continue to throw up on the ground because I'm still
I
stunned.
feel like
So he's
to
still
myself,
writhing
I
from-
sound more drunk than I feel. I don't feel that drunk, but like when I talk, I'm like, I feel like I sound drunk as shit.
I mean, Chris is writhing on the ground, gripping his nutsack, so...
Oh shit, I only have... Alright, don't worry about it, Nick. Good. Bart is powerful. Get him, Jib, I believe in you. I need you to insta-jib him. Alright? Now's the time to make that joke because it's the boss.
Doo-doo.
I mean, last time I did that, I collapsed a guy's throat, so...
I want you to collapse this guy's entire chest
Oh yeah,
cavity.
Chris, you're asleep, aren't you? Huh?
I'm not asleep. I'm
You're
throwing up on the
right,
ground.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
He's writhing.
I'm just like completely blanking out. Maybe I am drunker than I feel. Bilge Cradle's turn. So he is going
Jesus.
to use his special ability.
Wog?
Bilge Cradle makes a grapple check versus Crow and Nick at the same time.
Okay.
So make
What do we do?
grapple checks.
Can I trip him with the chain that connects me to Flapper as he approaches me? Because I was at range because I had a crossbow, and Jib was also at range because lightning bolt.
Maybe on your turn, that would be neat. But on his turn, you just have to defend yourself against this attack. So roll a strength check to resist grapple, because that's how 5th edition works.
18.
12.
Summon a bitch. He rolls a natural 1 against both of you.
He grabs us both with a pinky finger out.
Grab. So, neither of you are grappled. It is turn of Nick.
Whip him. Whip him good.
I'm going to... What do I want to do, Jib? Wait, you're not my master. Fuck.
Whip him.
So he's exceedingly muscular. So I'm going to take my whip and whip his left ankle and then run around him, trying to trip him up like he's some kind of AT-AT.
I've got no fucking clue how that should work in 5th edition, so make a dexterity check against his strength check, I guess.
Yes, I don't know.
Oh,
okay, that's
he
the
rolls
nat
a
19.
nat fucking 1 again!
Alright, I got a 21
3 in a
total.
row!
Oh my
Three-
god.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Are
3.
you sure dice aren't broken?
He's at 3.
Are you sure you're not just seeing the same one?
I mean, it is technically the same one, because it is the same die.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's amazing.
You
What
see, when
happens
you
to
roll dice, you're supposed to do more than pick them up and put them down.
I am a fucking rolling it. Like that time, it actually like bounced out of my little dice tray thingy, and it still landed on fucking 1.
That's like a 1 in 8,000
It
chance
is.
or something.
Yeah, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious.
What happens to him?
He's
My
affected
completely
by Nick's
implausible strategy
effect.
just works.
Yeah, basically. So what are you?
He tripped him.
You're fucking tying him up with your fucking
Bullwhip.
rope tied your bullwhip. Okay. It's tied up.
Just his angles. I'm just trying to
Right.
trip him and
So
stuff.
he trips, falls prone. So since he's prone, all attacks versus him now have advantage. So Crow, it is your turn.
Jib, sick him! Rip out his stupid squirrel throat.
Rip out his left ventricle.
That would be
That's a better idea. Rip out
fairly
his left ventricle.
effective, I believe. Left ventricles are reasonably important body parts.
I mean, I don't have any weapons, so I'm just gonna slap him in the throat. That worked last time.
Do it.
Since I have advantage.
You started as a perfectly respectable druid, and now you're an unarmed, slightly sexualized Dracula.
So my best I did was a 12.
It's surprisingly not very good. You get flanking, so... Well, flanking just gives advantage in 5th edition, so that doesn't stack, so it's still a 12. Lame. I'm sorry, Crow, but you failed to slap this man who is lying on the floor in the throat.
He probably had squirrel bones protecting his throat.
Chris, it is
Yeah,
your turn.
I go for a swing, but I clip one of the teeth and just injure myself.
I use my special war priest powers once more to get 2 attacks.
Okay,
Vengeance for the nutsack.
Nutsack vengeance.
damn that nutsack.
Sperm for the sperm throne.
Does a 22 and a 22 hit?
22 and 22 will both hit.
Okay.
Arm, okay.
And that will be for 8 damage. I'm okay!
Right, of all people, you would get that reference.
I am playing a cleric of Armok.
Armok best mock.
Armok is the best mock. See, I was playing a cleric before I knew of Armok, before I knew you were showing.
I'm so proud of you.
It's like, there's got to be some representation on
You
this
did
podcast.
damage, Chris?
8 damage.
Okay.
I like how everyone interprets Armok differently.
He is felled. He falls to the ground, and I think I have some snappy description for him, but I forgot. Okay, hold on. The massive
Can I make one up?
form of bilge cradles later. The massive form of bilge cradle's bulky body slumps down to the ground. Like, seriously, it takes a long time just to watch it. He falls really awkwardly, too, and his gauntlets and armor somehow fall off. His spirit rises from his corpse, but it wears no armor, rather a tuxedo wrought from skulls and a monocle wrought from skulls. Not sure how he managed that one, or how it
Highly
became
impractical.
incorporeal with him, but that is fine craftsmanship. Good show, gents.
pick up the
He
silver
smiles,
gauntlet
and his
and punch
top
the
hat
spectre.
tips, wrought from platypus tails, oddly throwing off the ensemble, and begins slowly rising skyward. Since you gave me a right honorable thrashing, I'll let you have all the treasure I have collected my whole life. It's just stuff before you which I has wearing, and nothing else. Oh, except that container in my office. Climb the tree and find it. He keeps talking a while, but it gets boring and his voice fades as he disappears into orc heaven or something.
I'm going to double tap his body to make him disappear faster.
My sombrero fall
Who
off.
wants orc sausages?
I do. Let's come.
Oh, no, you get away from the bodies. I'm going to make orc sausages, and they will be used as treats for you two.
Yay!
I'm going to take the collar off and say, okay, that was...
Oh, you don't have the keys. Jingle, jingle, jingle.
So the treasure you gain is a half plate of stinky skulls, 12 tacos, and gauntlets of strength +2.
I'm taking those gauntlets.
We will split the tacos evenly, and I will discern what is valuable about these 4 tacos.
They're just fucking tacos. They're just
Like,
fucking
what's on these tacos?
So, actually, oddly enough, the last time, I think Chris did do this campaign once before, and he found out that in the various tents, there's random weird ways to gain tacos. And if you have enough tacos, you can just bribe Bilge Cradle, and he'll just give you his armor and stuff for free and leave the town alone. So that's just kind of an alternate way that I made to win the one shot.
Maybe we would have discovered it if someone didn't attack everything that moved that wasn't a player character or McPuffin.
I believe war is one of the truest expressions of civilization and struggle.
Also,
and
I feel
blood.
like since I'm wearing my sombrero, I feel obligated to say pinche gringo. Because that's what I am.
So, is this
It'd
the
be
part...
racist
Yeah,
if
this
we
is the
were
end of the
not white.
podcast, so we can all shill our shit now. So, Nick, you've already vaguely told yourself about stumps. I forgot what I was saying. Anyways, tell them where they can find your stuff and buy your stuff, because your stuff is neat, Chris keeps telling me, and I keep forgetting to buy it.
It's on DriveThruRPG. Just type in 5 cataclysms and everything that isn't free is mine. But it's worth paying for if you run any kind of OSR system.
And, of course, Crow, where can we catch you?
Don't know what else to say.
You can find me on my YouTube channel, which currently is named Cobird, but I'm probably thinking about changing the name to rebrand something a little bit easier to find. But I'm also a writer for Two Guys Playing Zelda, and I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Twitch, so the names are always the same. come find me. I do stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And once I get a mix amp from my better mic, I will start actually doing shit productively again.
And then maybe we'll do
Like
that
what?
other podcast that we do that I keep reminding you of every time you're on the podcast, and you're like, yeah, we'll get back to that sometime.
Yeah, one of these days.
And of course, my
Productive.
magnificent-ish co-host, Chris.
Hi, I'm Christopher Audette. I put some
What the fuck? No weird middle name? Come on.
Christopher just Audette.
Excellently played.
You can find House of Flowers on DriveThruRPG. It's an adventure for 5 Cataclysms specifically, and any D&D-ish / OSR-ish system. And you can pick that up for any price, including the low price of $0.00. Nick and I also co-wrote 5 Cataclysms Core Rules Beta Edition, which is a work in progress that may contain some ideas you like, which you can also pick up for any price you like. I would also, once again, highly recommend Nick's Adventures, including Mad Mask Spire, in which we nearly died to correctly pyramid stacking face-chesty monsters, because despite their lack of coordination, they managed to form a perfect human pyramid like cheerleaders and beat up one of the last people left alive.
They
So-
all rolled backs on their dex checks. It wasn't supposed to happen.
So
It just happened.
buy that adventure and see if that can happen to you too. It includes famous antagonist Hagatha, who is a hag and an Itha. Full well worth the price of $5.
Also has references to Banjo-Kazooie, for what that's worth.
Recommend playing Gruntilda's theme for if you ever fight Hagatha.
Oh, it says it in the key. Music Gruntilda theme.
Does it really?
I think so, it should. If I was doing music suggestions at the time, anyways.
Okay.
All right, and of course I am...
You'll also know what Goobob is if you get that.
Yeah.
And of course I am...
Spoiler alert, you do not want to put it on a topic.
And of course I am interrupted every
Interrupted.
time I try to fucking introduce myself, even though I'm the host of the goddamn podcast.
No show for you.
My name is Sean Michael Patrick Thompson, and of course you can call us yes, I'm a second circle, I'm a second fifth, and you hear me, Sorry, I'm Sean Michael Patrick Thompson. You can catch me on TwoGuysPlayingZelda.com, 2Guys Gaming. I do all sorts of stuff. My review is up now for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was fucking great. If you haven't played it, go fucking buy it. If you don't have a PS4, go fucking buy a fucking PS4, you stupid cunt. And this beer is not very good, but if you put a bit of gin in it, it is decent-ish, but until you're like halfway through, and then you're like, no, this is shit again. I should chug this. Anyways, I give it a fucking chug this out of 10. If you want to get drunk, it's sure, what the fuck.
I think he's had too much to drink.
That was my point of fucking drinking a 15.7 and a fucking car bomb before we started.
Every time he puts one down, it sounds like they're just going into a heap of cans.
Oh, the cans.
Well,
Any claim
little
what's
do you know,
I got
his
2
floor is
bottles
just
with me.
littered with cans.
if we had,
Goodness.
if we
Please
had
support
any
Tel
claim,
Nua and Golden City Brewery. They are fucking amazing. If you live in the Colorado area and you have not checked them out, go check them out. If not, then go like support one of your craft breweries or craft distilleries, because they need the money right now because people are fucking hurting. So check out all your craft distilleries, craft breweries around you. And now it's the last part of the podcast where we talk about random shit until
You're not
somebody
hurting
says
at all.
something really weird, and then I cut off the podcast. Bum, bum, bum.
So, who wants to start us off?
Penis. Did that work?
I mean, I got nothing for that. You know, everyone, most of everyone's got one, has experienced one. They're pretty mundane when you think about
Not
it.
everybody. I mean, there's chicks in the world.
Well, yeah, but, you know, they have penis constantly flung at them, so...
You don't know how many of those chicks have penises.
The market is full of dick. The market is saturated with dick.
The market is saturated with dick.
Dick is a saturated commodity. If you really wanna sell your dick, you gotta have something special to stand out.
I mean, you know the term saturated fats. That's not some science term. It's just dick. Like you open up a tub of butter, it's just a dick in there. Look right
Yeah.
back up.
I will never see my popcorn the same again. I'm just gonna rub some dick over my morning toast.
Buy Dick
All right,
Futures.
can you go get me some of that melted dick?
If you want to buy Dick Futures, they'll pay you $36 to take dick off their hands.
God damn.
Wow, I thought
You went
I thought I was
places with
educated, but I didn't know dick about this.
That was the least offensive pun I think I've heard, because it just worked.
I'm like slightly drunk, so there's like the arrow is slightly like moving around inside of the recording area. So there's going to be like this random arrow popping in and out of the top screen for a little while, and then it's going to be like moving around when I'm explaining this random bullshit that I'm talking about.
I feel like your definition of slightly drunk is mine for just drunk.
It's possible. I mean, we could also do the other thing that we do on the podcast sometimes, which is called What You Playing, so we could figure out how to accidentally go into something awkward that way. So What You Playing is a segment on the podcast where Chris and I talk about what kind of video games we're playing recently.
What
So
ever happened? Chris brings a thing.
well, Chris can't bring a thing to my house right now because there's a virus and shit. But you know what? Fuck that. I brought a thing. I have the Legend of Zelda Encyclopedia right the fuck here, and it is in a Nintendo
Oh, that's fucking
cartridge,
cool.
like something fucking cool. And it comes out, and it's.
I
cool
have
and
that
shit.
cartridge.
I want it.
That is
It's
Wait.
actually really
I
cool.
have a golden cartridge of the first game. Who wants to buy it? Taking bids.
I have one at my parents' house, or maybe my brother's house somewhere. It's fucking cool. Yeah, the gold cartridge thing was like a really cool thing. I haven't actually got through all of this yet, but the Zelda Encyclopedia is actually pretty sweet. It's got a lot of info on the timeline and just random Zelda trivia and stuff that you never knew that you wanted to know. Like how the lady that you give a buttload of cuckoos to in Ocarina of Time is the brother of the crazy fuck in the middle of the forest.
Wait, she's the brother of the crazy fucking forest?
No, her brother is the crazy fuck in the forest.
Ah.
They are both, their parent is the potion hag that you go to also within that side quest. And their father is the craftsman guy that gives you the poacher's saw that you give to.
So there's
shit.
2 families in Kakariko Village.
Yeah, basically, there's a lot of incest.
Oh wait, 3 Skulltula family.
So do you think the Skull Kid from Lost Woods is secretly the blue-haired kid from Majora's Mask? And if so, why is he marrying his sister?
Because
I thought you were gonna say
Tingle's
secretly.
dad is the guy that runs the bazaar.
Oh yeah. That doesn't answer my question.
Well, in that case, penis.